Hello and welcome, Neil.
I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming along. You went from fan of the show to guest, so you're living the dream.
Since the first time I listened, my dream was to be on the show. I don't know where to go from here.
Most people never say that because they've never heard of the podcast when I have a guest on, so you're the first one.
Yeah, it was because you had Kev on earlier in the year.
Yeah.
We haven't seen each other in 10
Yeah.
years. We saw each other on the 57 bus one day.
Kev or me and you.
Like me and you, yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird one because, Neil and I went to high school together in good old Blair Gowrie, and I think I'm sure I've talked about it before at length. Yeah, and I was thinking about this today. I was like, when is the last time you've seen Neil? And I think there was a period when we left high school.
Yep.
I didn't see you for a good maybe 5 years, I guess.
Well, you went away in 5th year.
Yeah.
Off to America or so. Now I found out what you've been doing from listening to the podcast. I had no idea where you went. And then you came back and because I went to uni at the end of 6th year, 2004 in Glasgow. So it must have been before 2008.
Because it felt like you went away for like 4 or 5 years, and then I saw you working a few times in the town, and I was like, oh, I've not seen Neil in years. He must have came back from uni or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were doing, and then you kind of disappeared.
No,
again.
I never came back to Blair.
Oh, but I thought I saw you working in one of the shops there a few times. No.
I did in 6th year. But,
okay. That's weird then.
Yeah.
Or maybe. Okay.
Timelines are. Am I making that up?
I'm doing a whole sort of Terminator timeline thing here where
we've retconned it. But no, I wouldn't have been there after 2008 because Mum died 2006.
Right.
And then Dad, after Faye went to uni, Dad remarried, moved up to Aberdeen. So I've got no reason to go back to Blair ever.
And you were like the first person I met that was Aberdonian, I think. Are you Aberdonian?
I was born in Aberdeen, but never lived there.
Okay. That makes you just as good as in my eyes. Yeah, I remember you saying that, like you were, I was born there when you were in high school, and I was like, I've never met anyone, because Blair Gowrie's such a small town, but there's so many people, so you think that's the whole universe, and then...
I had a large catchment area as well, so you'd go to school with people from 50 different tiny little villages. Because you were from Aelith?
You hushed your wish. No, I moved around a bit actually, so I went to all the primary schools in the area, so that's why I kind of knew everyone from every primary school. So when I went to high school, I didn't get, I've mentioned this before, but I didn't get bullied, but I just knew everyone sort of thing. I wasn't like I was popular, obviously, we both...
Well, me and you, we were, what is it, best way to describe it? Never friends, but always friendly. We didn't move in the same circles. No. French class was the only time.
Physics
as well.
Mr. Ray,
yeah, Mr. Ray.
That was a brilliant class.
Brilliant class. We got to watch 12 Monkeys on the last day.
I wonder where he is now, because he basically was
I think he turned into a cigarette. He just fell to the ground one day.
Yeah, he smelled like coffee and cigarettes all the time, and he knew he didn't care. But he still was proud of his work, so he was like, he did everything to make you pass.
Yes.
Which, just short of actually doing the test himself.
Well, what was it? You would just come in and he would have everything written on the chalkboard, and you would spend the first hour of a double period just copying what he'd written down on the chalkboard, and he'd go, is everyone ready? And we'd just roll it up further. And he'd had the whole second side was ready to go for the next stuff to copy down. No,
that was a weird teaching style, because it wasn't like he was
like a lecturer more than a teacher. Yeah,
he was great though. He was one of the sort of fondest memories I've had of a teacher. And did he not have a relationship with someone?
Miss Milne. There was always rumors that they had that connection between their classrooms. Oh, remember?
More than just a door. It was more than physical.
It transcended the physical space of their classrooms. But no, because Miss Milne's class was next to his, and they had they shared a cupboard essentially.
I bet they did.
That's a euphemism.
No, it's just blatant.
That was always the rumors. But there was rumors about every teacher.
Yeah, that was true. I mean, didn't matter which teacher it was. There was always some from.
Mr. Darby was afraid of bananas. Yeah. Everyone knew that.
Oh yeah, this is all coming back. Why though? Because I think just people thought, he was gay.
Yeah.
and for some reason he would be scared of bananas.
One day when I was working in the shop in 6th year, Mr. Anderson came in, the geography teacher.
Oh, okay.
And he made a joke about Mr. Darby being gay, so the joke transcended even the students and went up to the faculty.
I had no idea like this was all going on. Like everyone knew that he was gay. I didn't know anything until I saw him in a local nightclub in Perth.
All right.
When I was there in college there, and he was with a bunch of girls, and like I think he was like, I saw him kissing some guy, and I was like,
oh, so it was true.
Yeah.
Like this, okay, that you've just confirmed it then.
And I was like, no way. Like this is maybe it wasn't him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take my word for it. I was very drunk this night.
This is libel.
Well. Yeah, I think he was trying to kiss me. No, I'm joking.
It's slander because it's spoken. It's not written.
Oh yeah, okay. Slanderous slave that I am.
Yeah. So and then French class we got swapped seats because I spoke to Sean too much and you spoke to Scott too much. So Mrs. Boylan was like, "I'm switching you two." And then what she didn't realize is that she just created two new like sets of friends.
Yeah, that was funny. 'Cause, yeah, we were going to speak wherever we were.
Mm-hmm.
She was a weird combination of things. She was like She was Irish. She taught French, and she spoke German as well, I think. Yeah. And she lived with someone who had a weird accent as well, I guess.
Yeah, her husband was something else.
Yeah. Human, obviously, but
maybe.
It was just
I
weird.
never saw him.
It's like, Darren, picture. No, I would always sleep in class. So she was like, stop sleeping in class. And I was like,
I wasn't.
Like you're. Oh, yeah, it was a terrible accent. I know. I went from region to region there, so please excuse me.
Yeah. So, and then we must have been in 3rd and 4th year. You got mixed with people. That was like 1st and 2nd year. You were just stuck with the same people every single class. And 3rd and 4th year, I met people like you and Scott and Kev in geography, things like that.
Were we not in the same? No, Reggie class. No,
I think I was in Scott's Reggie class.
Scott Thompson.
Yeah.
So was I. That's
no,
how.
That can't be then.
Because that's how we knew each other, was because of registration classes. They're such a weird concept.
Well, I had like Gordon Duncan and Dan Christopher and Kyle Farley in mine.
We were in the same registration class.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, 1A3 was it?
Who was your registration teacher?
The art teacher.
Maybe we were in the same Reggie class. I've completely forgotten.
Thanks, Neil. Obviously, just wasn't important to you the whole time we were in registration together for 5 years.
Because we would have sat alphabetically by surname.
I think, yeah, because
at first.
Yeah, I sat in the table by myself, and Helen Grimshaw, who was like one of the kids that barely turned up to high school.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the same table because I was really cool. Yeah, so I was way over in that corner. This is so strange. I forgot you were in that class. Was Adam in that class as well?
Adam's dropped off the face of the earth.
This was something I wanted to bring up to you.
Yeah, I was going to decide to talk about it with you because I've spoken to Kerry. I saw Kerry like 3 weeks ago, and every time I see her, I'm like, do you know what's happened to Adam?
Yeah.
Where's Adam?
I know.
And then I saw like Neil Scott last year.
Right.
And I was like, do you know, where's Adam? He's just dropped off the face of the earth.
I thought you would have been in the know.
Yeah, like that's it. I spoke to him like 10 years ago.
Right.
And then nothing.
But did he go to university?
He went to Edinburgh.
Right, okay.
I think I saw him. He came in through to Glasgow twice in first year when I was in uni. And then again when my mum died, I had to phone him to get his parents' number so my dad could, because my mum and his mum were friends.
Right.
But not friends enough to stay in contact when they moved. So that was the last time I like spoke to him voice to voice. Yeah. Was to say, oh, hey, my mum's dead. Can I have your mum's number?
That's such a surreal combination of things to say.
Because my dad was like, oh, I need you to phone Adam. I was like, why? He went, because I need his mum's number to phone him, to phone her. And I was like, okay. But yeah, that was the last time I spoke to him. And then we had like an internet conversation in 2009.
Okay. Is he on Facebook or?
No. When I say like, I've searched for him, I've put his name into Facebook and not found him. So that's it. That's the depth of it.
But that is searching these days. You know, that's as far as you can go, and you can find anybody. And I remember, like, even just 10 years ago, not everyone and their dad was on Facebook, so you couldn't find just anybody that you wanted to. You could probably, if you don't know someone's name, you could more than likely find anyone on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, process elimination.
And
not that I've done this. I'm not some creep that follows people, you know, and just adds them randomly.
and he's obviously made. He doesn't want to like talk to me because there's not many Neil Stuchburys on Facebook. So he's made like 0 attempts. So he's just, I'm guessing, either dead or happy,
or
or both.
He's found happiness. Maybe he's some sort of recluse. He's went back to the woods and so he didn't seem that type though.
He lived on Woodlands Drive.
Is that a coincidence? I
think not. He's obviously like a hermit living in the woods with the peacocks around the Alta Mountain Hotel.
Do you know what he went to study?
No.
No? So nobody knows anything?
No.
Did he even exist?
I hope so, because like he was my best friend for like 6 years. This wasn't like a Calvin and Hobbes sort of thing.
You're gonna be like that. Was it the TV show with the guy from? This is the only movie I can remember. North. But this is the most obscure reference I'm making about him.
This is my favorite thing to do, though.
The Hobbit.
Okay.
Elijah Wood.
All right.
I don't know why I said North. Do you remember that one?
Why? It's the one. He's been in so many films.
He was in that when he was like 10. I think he divorced his parents in it.
Okay.
Do you not? Have you never seen it?
I need to now, though.
This is one of his first movies, and he was the first kid he became famous from divorcing his parents. I think. Wait a minute. I'm gonna Google this. And I think he had loads of money, and he just travelled a bit. And
maybe that's what Adam's doing then.
What, he divorced his parents?
Divorced his parents and that sort of thing. No, like, whenever I meet up with somebody, I ask them, and they're like, I was kind of hoping you'd know.
No, like the last time I seen him was probably before I left in 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember seeing him then. But
he was great at football.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have any idea of what he was like as a person.
He was skilled.
Maybe he's a footballer.
Maybe he's a footballer now.
Obscure Argentinian.
Some Chinese team. He wasn't a Nazi, so he wouldn't be in Argentina.
That's what I was thinking, Argentina, but but not Chinese because he would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, but the Chinese league's huge now.
As tall as him?
No. He was tall. He was tall.
So the story of North is based on a novel from 1984,
right? Or
1984. North, the tale of a 9-year-old boy who becomes a free agent and travels the world in search of the perfect parents. Bit of a long-winded title there. You could probably sum it up in North.
Yeah.
So he's a child prodigy. That's a hard word for me to say.
Yeah.
Skilled in academic, sport, and drama, and admired by many for his good work and obedient attitude. This is a weird.
That's not Adam.
This is something they show kids to be like, look, this is the perfect kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like that one
why
where
don't you be like that.
Where that kid makes the plan to kill like the next door neighbor and like leaves it after he dies because he has some illness.
Really?
Oh, geez, what's that? It's a recent one, and he leaves like a really complicated plan for his mother,
right?
Played by Naomi Watts.
Okay. Oh, okay.
To kill their next door neighbor because he thinks he's like molesting his stepdaughter or something.
Oh, okay.
And then so like she goes through with this like really elaborate plan because the kid's like super smart or something.
What's now when I posted about today,
Mm-hmm.
I saw some comments going back and forward on your page.
Yeah.
So what's all this talk?
I wanted you to bring. I wasn't going to bring this up.
I had to because what is this Kirsten Dunst talk?
Over the last 3 weeks, I've watched 16 films starring Kirsten Dunst.
And that obviously begs the question: why?
You know when you can't decide anything to watch.
Yeah, but Kirsten Dunst.
There's nothing wrong with Kirsten Dunst. So like, I did this like 3 years ago. I made a list of a film I hadn't seen from every year.
Okay.
From 1950 like to 2016. So when I wanted to watch a film, I'd pick a film from that list.
Right.
And it was a lot easier because you would just pick something. And so I'm doing the same thing with Kirsten Dunst. And the reason is she has a very, very varied career. And she's released a lot of films. Like, a lot.
But she hasn't released quality, though.
I'd point you to Melancholia.
A lot of quality.
And I'd point you to Bring It On.
Bring It On's a classic movie.
Yeah.
That's one of my... even as, like...
that was the first one I watched.
A hot-blooded male...
it might be the last one I watch as well. I might bookend it with Bring It On.
Bring It On 2. She's not in it, but...
No. I don't think anybody returned... Even Eliza Dushku was like, no, I don't need that.
She was the girl that I thought was hot in that one.
Played Faith
Yes.
in Buffy.
Yeah. That's something that not everyone talks about anymore.
You might say her career took a wrong turn.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because that's another film she was in.
Was that not the first one she was in?
That's like one of those.
No, she was in True Lies.
She's the kid. She's the daughter in True Lies.
Daughter in True Lies.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, you're right.
Holy shit! I forgot about
that. She gets kidnapped by the guy at the end, like the fourth act. You think it's all over, and then like she gets grabbed or
Wrong
something.
Turn?
No, I'm still talking about True Lies. Wrong Turn was post Bring It On. Like 2004 or 5.
I'm having a bit of trouble trying to find this video. I don't even know if we're streaming on.
Have we been? We've been talking for ages, and we might not be. Oh no. Oh dear.
Might not be connected to Facebook, but that's fine. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
I need to get this stuff sorted.
Nobody cares about
Facebook. It seems to only favor one platform, but I have it set up for two, so it shouldn't.
So it should be like it's not like using double the bandwidth. It should just like
maybe, but no, it's all under.
Okay.
It's called Restream, so you can.
Oh, it goes up to one thing and then that points it out to the others. Okay.
So you shouldn't use any extra bandwidth, but it's been so fussy. I got it working before you were here, and then it's just. But I had it just going through that, not YouTube. Anyway, it's all technical talk.
Yeah. Right. So, Kirsten Dunst, she has like a very varied career, and has a lot of films, and like she's 4 years older than us. So by the time the films had been produced, released, and then appearing on video and things, the character she was playing on screen was usually my age.
Right. Okay.
So I had like a huge crush on her in
Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers. Yep. Back when I was like 14, and then when you're 16 and Bring It On comes out, you're like, what is this?
I know. It kind of was like that first sort of big introduction to American cheerleader culture, you know.
And watching it back, it's a really bizarre film. In that there's some really like R-rated jokes in there, like it makes light of like lifting up girls and like accidentally fingering them and stuff. And
I thought that was just a cheerleader banter, you know.
Yeah, but like but it's also got that Nickelodeon coming seconds okay like message at the end. So I don't know if they started with like a much harder script and then softened it for a PG-13 release or like a. But
you know how we get a lot of these animated movies for kids, but there's still a bit of a dad humor in there. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, this is a joke for a blue joke for the mum and dad. So that was my Peter Kay joke.
But I don't know if like you would put some of the jokes from Bring It On in a kids film.
True. But would kids understand fingering?
No, but they might understand a bikini car wash.
Oh, yeah. That one was funny. I can't believe we're talking the semantics of Bring It On.
But Bring It On, and then I've watched Spider-Man 2, which is like I forgot how good Spider-Man 2 is.
That is a legit movie.
Yeah, it's contained and it's like perfectly structured.
Yeah,
and like Alfred Molina is fantastic as Dr. Octopus.
Yeah, he's such a phenomenal actor as well, and he's brilliant in that.
I completely forgot about the pizza delivery thing that he's doing at the start, and how like downtrodden he is.
Yeah,
and then like
I've got to say though, sorry, interject.
Yeah,
he has to be one of the worst actors in Hollywood.
Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Well, he's a creep, isn't he? He was part of the Pussy Posse, Leonardo DiCaprio.
What?
You don't know about this?
No.
Like there was it was Tobey Maguire, Leonardo DiCaprio, and a couple of others, and they would go to like clubs and stuff and just have like throngs of women around them.
Right. Such a bad guy.
But that was what they called themselves. They called themselves the Pussy Posse.
Wow, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Is this obviously #MeToo movement?
Yeah, this is pre-Titanic, I think, or even like that sort of era, like What's Eating Gilbert Grape and things like that. But Spider-Man 2 is fantastic, getting away from the Pussy Posse.
Wait a minute, imagine being in a club and you've just made What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and someone starts coming on to you because they've seen the movie,
and they're like,
you're like, oh, what's up, Leo? You were very good as a retarded person in that movie. And
then Tobey Maguire comes in, Spider-Man 3 emo hair dancing on the tables and stuff.
That has got to be one of the. the one that cemented it for me with Tobey Maguire was Cider House Rules, and there's a scene where he tries to cry.
Yeah, I've seen the YouTube thing.
Really?
Like, it's like Tobey Maguire trying to cry.
Yeah.
As well.
I didn't know it was a thing, but it's so painful to try and watch, and I was like, no, this guy's just happened to walk onto a movie set and then had a career off the back of that, and they're like, hey, this guy looks okay.
What's I don't know what the earliest films he was in. The Ice Storm, that Ang Lee film, when they do like, it's famous for having like the swingers thing, and then like a kid freezes in the ice storm or gets like electrocuted or something. Okay, and that's like they're like, oh no, my kid. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
Okay.
And
he's in it as well.
Tobey Maguire is like the son that comes back from. It's like set in New Haven.
Okay.
I know because I recognize the train that he travels on.
Okay.
And that's basically like it. So I travel on that train like 6 times to visit a friend in Connecticut, and they have American trains have these weird low seats.
Yeah.
Like with no headrests.
Okay.
Which are really annoying. But it must be for them to just easily see who's still on the train. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I know, that's kind of weird.
Talking about the New Haven line. So
you're not a train spotter, are you?
No, I'm really not. I'm really not.
Okay.
So Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
just watch some Kirsten Dunst films. She's a phenomenal actress.
There is one that I thought she was really good in recently, and that was the one with the little kid and he has superpowers. Midnight Run.
Midnight Special.
Midnight Run's different.
She's the mother.
Yeah, she seemed like sort of legit and sort of good at playing someone who's older and sort of downtrodden.
Well, she's in that late 30s now. She's really good in Fargo season 2.
Right. I've not been watching the TV series. Is it good?
Yes. I would definitely watch the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Third's not so great.
Well, I've seen the movie, but do you have to have watched the movie for it?
You don't.
Okay.
There are tenuous connections.
Okay.
And recurring characters and mentions of stuff that occurred in the film, but no, you don't need to.
Who's directing the TV show?
It's created by Noah Hawley, who went on to do the sublime Legion.
Okay.
You know that one with Dan Stevens?
Legion?
Legion, yeah.
Which one was that?
It's the Marvel Fox X-Men show. He plays Legion.
I've not watched any of the TV shows.
Oh, these aren't it's separate from the Daredevil bullshit.
Okay, yeah.
Legion is
it on Netflix? Yeah.
No.
Then I have not seen it.
It's FX and that's it. It's been shown here. He is essentially Charles Xavier's son.
Wow.
And he has so many.
Is he black?
No.
I always imagined his son to be black for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
And he has so many powers that his mind's fragmented, and each power is a different personality inside his head.
That kind of sort of rings a bell for some. Is his name Legion?
Yeah.
Is it TV show?
Yeah.
What's his name?
He's played by Dan Stevens.
Wow, I've not seen this or heard about it.
And so the first episode is he's stuck in a mental institute because he's been told he has paranoid schizophrenia.
Right.
And you have no idea when you're watching it what's now, what's a memory, what's a fake memory, because there's sometimes his what's in his head changes what he remembers to make him think certain things, etc., etc.
So if you're a powerful mutant, he is a mutant as well. If you're a powerful mutant, and you can just start changing reality with your mind as well. Yeah. That's going to fuck with you.
And he doesn't currently exist in the comics because he thought the only way he could really help anybody was to remove himself from existence.
Wow.
So he created a reality in which he doesn't exist. And that's the way it's because they create this character and they're like, what do we actually do with him? Yeah. And then eventually you're just sort of like...
Is he in the comics at all?
Yes.
Ever?
He was in them for a while.
Okay.
And then he eventually... the current run is that he just removed himself from reality.
They could have done that if he wasn't in the comics.
Yeah.
If they just created him for the TV show, then they could just say he created. He was.
But I think he's making a comeback now that the TV show is quite popular. It's just finished its 2nd season and it's been picked up for a 3rd.
And when is it set?
Yes. It's weird in that it looks 70s, but it's supposed to be set now. There's no real. It's set then.
Who was Xavier banging in the 70s? And could he?
I can't. Legion in the comics is Scottish. Okay. I know that.
Okay.
In the show, he's even though he's played by Dan Stevens, he's American.
America.
And
We're always spoiling it.
I know, because he says weird Scottish lines in the comics. But I couldn't tell you who's. I'm not a comic expert. I'm a film expert, and even then, very specific.
Kirsten Dunst movies. Expert, quote unquote.
Quote unquote. So yeah, I'm almost done. I need to round it off.
How many seasons are there?
There's 2 so far.
Cool.
I'd definitely give it a watch.
You can't go by ratings a lot of the time on online.
It's terrible for ratings.
Rotten Tomatoes has 89%.
Yeah.
And IMDb has 8.4.
Yep.
And 94% of Google users like the show.
It's cult as fuck.
Really?
So the people who like it, like it.
Okay. Yeah, that's strange. We'll have to figure out Legion X-Men, because I want to know who the mammy is.
Mm-hmm.
Legion X-Men. Yeah, because who would be the mum? Probably Dark Phoenix, whatever. Xavier's probably banging what's her face? Rogue.
Well, it's one of those things. I have a friend who really knows the Marvel comics, and people always bring up things to Charles Xavier. Oh, hey, do you remember when you did this terrible thing? Just so they have a new run of something going on. Or so in this case, it's, oh, do you remember when you banged that woman and then ran off? And then he, the child became an Omega level mutant.
Don't they all? Gabrielle Haller?
Well, his name's David Haller.
Okay. She first appeared in X-Men comics in 1982. And she was a catatonic Holocaust survivor. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of like a Snow White story here, actually, or Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Xavier used his powers to wake her from some sort of slumber.
Right, to bang her. It sounds like that film with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I mean, I liked it. There were some good elements to it.
Have you seen that? I think it's Nerdwriter, the YouTube channel. He says the film could be vastly improved if you start it when she wakes up.
Right, okay.
And then you get to the point where she finds out.
Yeah.
And then you go back and see him wake up on his own. Rather than you starting with his point of view and being more sympathetic towards him. And he said it would also vastly improve Chris Pratt's performance because you'll see when he's acting a bit cagey about things.
Yeah, that makes sense because, context is everything. But that would be really good.
And it would make it into more like a weird thriller almost, and he would be far creepier.
Or you could have made it sort of more horror-ish.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Pratt, because it got to love it.
And then Lawrence Fishburne turned up to explain what was going on, just like in Predators.
He does that in all the movies, and then he dies. Did he die in that one?
In Predators?
No, yeah, of course he does. No, the one with Jennifer Lawrence.
Passengers.
Yeah. Yeah, he does die, doesn't he? Because he starts to show that disease, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Like the microwave one or whatever. He's been toasted for too long. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie on the whole, but if they'd sort of made
way
him
too wholesome.
Yeah, too much. It was too American wholesomeness. Slice Americana. But they could have, like they say, if they'd done that with the timeline, that would have been fantastic. Because it's messing with time, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe if they'd kind of went the darker route, because Chris Pratt's obviously...
He made a really creepy decision.
Yeah.
And then had sex with her without telling her.
Did he?
Yeah.
When?
Well, they have sex.
Okay.
And then she finds out.
I thought you meant he had sex with her without telling her that he was having sex with her.
Oh, no. It's not like he climbed into the pod.
No, yeah, he didn't tell her. He
chose to woke her up, yeah.
It's a tough situation, though, when you think about it, though. Imagine imagine you were on the ship, and you got all this, and you got woken up early due to some mistake, and you're going to spend the rest of your time on the ship by yourself, and then you start seeing this chick or this lady. I mean, you're taking that decision away from them, but at the same time...
that would have made the film more interesting.
Yeah.
If it had explored that weird decision that he made, and but it didn't. And it also didn't touch really upon the difference in class that they each had, and he was like a laborer, but she was like rich kid in the rich section. There was lots of good ideas there that they didn't bother to do. It
did get a bit weird before the sort of wholesomeness ending, when he went outside and whatever, and it was just
It was like Sunshine.
I think, I love Sunshine, though.
I love Sunshine as well.
Danny Boyle's such a great director, though.
He's doing Bond now as well.
I know. Is it Daniel Craig that's going to be the...
He's asking for like £1 billion or something, and they're like,
I think
okay.
he just doesn't want to do it, so he's just asking for more absurd money to do it.
I think his wife doesn't want him to do it either.
Well, if she was my wife, I wouldn't want to do it either.
No, all I can think about is The Lobster.
Oh yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
That's the one with Colin Farrell, isn't it? I've not watched all of it.
It's definitely like an awkward slog.
Laura, my girlfriend, she loves it. She says it's a great movie, so I tried to watch it. Like I love independent cinema.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in the right frame of mind.
Oh God!
At the
like
time.
if you're sitting there like, whoa, you just have to give up. And the best films are like that. You need to be in like the best mood.
Could you explain to people what the premise of Lobster is, if you can?
The Lobster is set in like a dystopian Britain where you can't be single. You have to be in a couple.
Okay.
And if for some reason you become single, in the case of Colin Farrell, I think his wife leaves him at the start. You get sent to these hotels where you have to find a partner within 45 days, or you get turned into an animal of your choice. And he chooses a lobster, hence the title.
Okay.
And but out in the woods are the loners, the single people who've run away from the whole utopia, and they live on their own. And every day the people from the hotel go out and hunt loners with tranquilizer guns, and you get an extra day in the hotel for every loner you bring back.
But why?
I don't know. Why not? Well, the idea is to like make fun of the fact that you feel so tunnel visioned into being like in a romantic relationship. They also make fun of everybody's like so fixated on having something in common with the person they're in. Like a guy who pretends to have nosebleeds to go out with a girl who gets nosebleeds.
That's so strange.
Because it's the like the Match.com thing, like the ticking the boxes. Like you each tick the same box, so you must be perfect. You must be perfect for each other.
It's such a stupid idea as well. Like just what we found, if you're more like someone, it becomes more aggravating to be around. You know, because it's a reflection of yourself. Yeah. And if you're not perfect like everyone else, if you start seeing those things, it just becomes supremely annoying.
So like if you find a partner, then you're stuck in the hole for 2 weeks further. In the couples section of the hotel.
All right, okay.
Where you play like doubles instead of singles, and if you survive that, you then get a further 2 weeks on a yacht.
Okay. Because
the only way to test a relationship is to go on holiday with each other.
No, they should go. They should go through IKEA. That's the only way to test a relationship.
The shortcuts are always behind you. That's the key
for IKEA.
Yeah,
I think I gamed the system the last time I went there with my girlfriend. You go around in reverse, so you start at the end.
Yeah, and then you see
the
them.
other way.
Yeah,
and you're fine.
They're there.
Yeah,
they're just designed to always be like you can't see them until you're past them. And then
eat the meatballs first, obviously, because you want to have a full stomach. You don't want to be just going, I want to fucking eat meatballs while you're like trying to traverse this maze. And eat first, go the reverse way. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
And then you come home with more than you bargained for, and you still have to put it all together.
But you have a clear mind. You know, you're not going to like angry buy because you're hungry.
And then there's some throwaway line where they say, and if there's any problems that you can't solve, we'll give you a child, because that usually helps.
Wow. So it's pretty much a dark reflection of actual relationships.
Yeah. And then eventually, like, he doesn't find someone and then runs off into the woods and finds the loners.
Okay.
Led by another favorite of mine, Léa Seydoux.
Okay.
The French actress. Who's fantastic. Who's really good. Yeah. And she says, you can't like flirt with anybody or anything. Right. And we only listen to electronic music and we dance alone.
I take it he doesn't like any of those things.
And then Rachel Weisz is there.
She's a bit of a evasive.
Yeah. And then they maybe get together. Who knows? Okay. You'd have to watch the film to find out.
So he doesn't, or he may or may not turn into a lobster. Do you know what, though? I would be pretty happy to turn into one of my favourite animals, though.
What animal would it be?
Chimp.
A chimp.
Yeah. Or a peacock.
There is a peacock in the film.
Oh, really?
When they're out in the woods with the loners, sometimes you just see like random animals like walking around. Like there was a camel at one point.
Okay.
And so you just assume that these are people.
Actually, I wouldn't be a peacock. I'd probably be an urban gull because they're protected and you get to eat all the chicken nuggets you want.
Oh, and all the pigeons you want. On the way here, like I saw a seagull eating a pigeon.
Really?
Yeah.
They're deadly because
right in.
we have loads of them around here for some reason. Not sure. Because there's no takeaways around here. Usually they congregate around where people are coming out from pubs and clubs and takeaways so they can eat.
Yeah.
But this is just like a sort of urban area that they've come into. Maybe they just nest here after a hard night of pecking out pigeons' eyeballs.
They take the wings off them as well.
That's crazy. But I've been looking into ways to maybe trying to get rid of them because they roost right above my window where I sleep at night. But it turns out they're protected. And you're not allowed to like try and shoot them or anything with like BB guns to try and get rid of them. Some guy, I think it was a pensioner, shot one. He killed it though. I don't want to kill it. I just want to say, shoo, pigeon, be gone.
You just want a message. You just want to leave a message for the others. Yeah.
So so a no fly zone for these seagulls. But yeah, there's basically nothing you can do. And if the noise becomes too much, you can put a phone call in, but they won't do anything because they're protected.
You can't like put it like a netting up or something, or those little spiky things.
Unfortunately, I'm not Spider-Man. Yeah, you can't do anything. It's weird. Like, it's strange because the noise they make is completely annoying. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And they eat fucking everything. Yeah. Why? Like, if I shot one today, it wouldn't be that.
It's maybe it's the reverse thing, like the fact that they're everywhere is because they're protected, and then like maybe in a year or two, we need the guy who makes the decisions on these things to have seagulls nesting above his house. But this is the thing. I think it stems from protecting coastlines and that type of thing. I guess that's where it comes from. You know, seabirds, but they're not seabirds anymore. They're urban gulls. Like they're inland. And they don't want to move. No. Like, I've not seen a seagull. Because chips are tastier than fish or something.
If he's a Scottish seagull, then he loves chips.
Yeah. You remember going down for lunch in Blair, and they'd follow you. Yeah. They knew what time it was.
Have you experienced the Broughty Ferry seagull?
No.
Have you even heard about it?
No.
So it's a particular seagull from Broughty Ferry in Dundee. It's another seaside town. These things are massive. I'm not joking you. I've seen cars having to swerve around them in the middle of the street.
Because they don't move.
They don't care. And they're huge. I don't even think they'll be on Google maybe, but
they're too big for Google.
They were handing out flyers in Dundee how to deal with like the seagulls because they were just.
Do they take off with you like domesticated animals and things?
They take off with small children and whole buckets of chicken from KFC. Yeah, they're crazy. Seagulls are going to remain a problem. Oh, so there is something that they're trying to deal with now.
Sweet.
They're just huge.
Like,
people have taken pictures of them. That's not one, obviously.
Yeah,
these are actual seagulls.
Yeah, there's nothing to scale. Like, I don't think that one's as big as a castle. It's not like a dragon protecting a castle.
Probably. Someone made that hilarious picture there.
Oh, yeah.
So he's as big as the actual Dundee itself. Yeah, but they're just so stupid. Like, why protect them? It's like swans. If you're not from the UK, the Queen owns all of the swans.
And she's not eating any of them.
I know. Lazy bint. Yeah, she owns them all. Like, why? And dolphins, I think, as well. Is that strangely? Why would she own dolphins?
But not the dolphins, not like the Miami Dolphins.
No, she could do. She's got a lot of assets, probably.
Why doesn't the Queen have a sports team?
What would they be called if she did have a sports team?
Silence. Lizzie's L. Lizzie's
lesbians.
Lizzie's leaders.
Lizzie's would have to be 2 L's, wouldn't it? Lizzie's I can only think of lesbians at this point.
You can only think of lesbians.
Lizzie's legends.
Lizzie's legends is good.
Lizzie's. Would they be a roller derby team? Like,
I just envisioned her like with the helmet on and like head down.
She wouldn't have to. I don't even understand the rules for that. Actually,
have you ever? I've only seen like that film Whip It with with Juno in it.
Okay,
yeah.
Juno.
Ellen Page.
Yeah, she always plays the exact
And Drew
same
Barrymore.
character. What?
Drew Barrymore's in it.
She's still in things, is she?
Somebody asked me like on the group I'm in when I was talking about the Kirsten Dunst thing. They were like, "Are you going to do Drew Barrymore after this?" And I was like, "No."
Who would want to?
She's done like 4 films. I'd watch like Donnie Darko and Charlie's Angels and be done.
Yeah.
And E.T.
I think she's awesome, but then when you know her whole like growing up history, it just makes all her. You don't know?
No.
Like taking all the drugs when she was like 8 years old.
All right.
Yeah, because she was.
E.T. gave her all that cash then, and she was like, "I'm buying drugs."
Supposedly, she was like, "There's a picture. I'll show you this picture if you Google it." But she's at an award ceremony, and she's completely out of her face, and she's wearing this little dress because she's like 10, but she's obviously on something. It's a famous black and white picture. Drew Barrymore.
Is she in a film about like starting fires or something?
Well, she probably did that with her career. Photo. I don't even know how to even word this without getting arrested. I put Drew Barrymore photo kid. Don't wanna.
You're just gonna get E.T. picture.
I know. Photo award ceremony. Yeah, she's got like super short hair now, but they're all starting to like stretch their faces now. It's so weird. Like
seeing like faces that you've grown up with, like becoming strange.
I think the sort of one of the worst examples of that was listening. I was talking about people doing stuff to their
people's faces.
If you're not a woman, you can't comment.
No.
Yeah, I can't seem to see this picture. Yeah, it's so weird. Like Courtney Cox, you know, like I don't know if you watched Friends growing up.
Yeah, well, I had to. I only had 4 channels.
Oh yeah. Laura somehow has managed to never see an episode of Friends, and Courtney Cox we know what she looks like. We grew up with that face.
Yeah.
And then just to see her doing all these lip injections, and it looks so obvious. It's like, and I know people who are not famous, you know, and are doing that sort of thing as well, and it's just like
she's like the Meg Ryan of our generation.
Yeah, but did she not get some disease from doing those lip injections? I think there was a British woman who did the same, and she got like badly ill, and she had to take them all out. I can't remember. I think she was like the British.
Meg Ryan was so hot though.
Not for me. She was never my cup of
not
tea.
even not like DOA and what's the other one? Back Inner Space. Back when she was with Dennis Quaid.
Inner Space is a great one. They should make a remake of that, maybe.
They should remake Inner Space. I think so, yeah.
They should do it.
With Ant-Man.
But like with Ant-Man. Yeah, they've basically just done that with Ant-Man, so you couldn't do that. Yeah. And it wouldn't fly the technology, but like, okay, we know, we've seen this 1 billion times.
And you got who's like your Martin Short these days? Who would be the guy that it goes into? First of all, who's playing the Quaid?
Okay, who's going to be Dennis? Is it Dennis Quaid? Yeah.
Dennis Quaid. No, Chris Pratt is like the new Dennis Quaid.
They should have Randy Quaid
playing
him now. That'd be amazing. Come on in, boys! Woo!
Just goes in fucking crop dusting inside somebody.
Yeah,
it's just like
seeing the guy's finger.
I'm just seeing it like the sphincter.
Sphincter is like an Independence Day.
He just goes up the guy's ass.
Coming at you, boys! Yeah, he has to go in manually, which is a bit weird.
Jesus.
I'm still trying to Google this Drew Barrymore wasted picture when she was a kid.
DOA is the one where Dennis Quaid gets like poisoned and he has like 48 hours to live. And there's a great scene where Meg Ryan sings Rebel Yell by Billy Idol.
Yeah. Still, you're not going to convince me.
I'm not convincing Meg Ryan. Not even in Top Gun.
Was she in Top Gun?
She's Goose's wife.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, but we both secretly know that she's not hot enough to keep Goose and Tom Cruise from being gay together.
That's true. I love Tom Cruise. I won't hear a bad word about
Oh yeah. Are you not like you really like him?
I'm a big Cruise fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited about Mission Impossible Fallout.
Really? I'm a bit jaded by them all.
Have you not seen the way Henry Cavill reloads his arms like guns?
What?
He does this. There's like it's the best part of the trailer. And he does this. He's fight. Him and Tom Cruise are fighting. Him and Ethan Hunt are fighting some guy in a bathroom. And like he gets knocked down and he stands up and pulls his shirt off. And he just like not his shirt, he pulls his jacket off. And then he just pumps each arm. And you're just like, oh, that guy's gonna get fucked up.
I think I've seen that actually.
They do it in time with the music, so it's like dum 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 with the arm pumps. No, Mission Impossible I think is the best action franchise we have.
But no one's believing Tom Cruise at whatever age he is. Like they wouldn't keep an agent on for that, you know.
I don't know. He still seems to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, there's trickery of camera. He still looks
trickery
tall,
of camera.
but he's not tall.
He's not tall. He's like he's tiny.
Yeah,
and Henry Cavill's massive.
I know. Yeah, that's the. But I don't think Henry Cavill's like. Look at us, like going all.
Yeah, well, get all their stats up.
And they always have them like. The first thing you Google, like when you put someone so and so's height, it has it. I'm like, who's collecting all their heights? And
IMDb. it's a database. Like it's not just like film. It's everything.
He's one. They do meters, so it's 1.85 for Henry Cavill.
So that's like 6'1", 6'2".
Is he? I just want to punch him in his face. Looking at him. Look at him.
He's so smug, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's made it.
It looks to me like they've CGI'd his moustache out that picture.
Maybe. I would. Did you see the video where he shaved it off?
The tash?
Yeah. He had a Facebook video where he's like, yes, it's me. You might not recognize me without the mustache.
That whole thing was stupid. Oh, just for people that don't know, Henry Cavill was doing Superman at the same time he was in contract to do another movie where
it's Mission Impossible where he has the mustache.
And he had to keep the mustache, which is anyway.
Well, if you're doing action scenes and you're fighting, you don't want to have to reset big action scenes because your fake mustache falls off. But
he had the mustache. I wonder what it must look like with him with the mustache on set and in Superman costume.
Superman costume.
It's like, call me Mr. Superman.
Oh.
And yeah, he had to keep the mustache while he was playing Superman famously, and they CGI'd
it looks
terribly. It's terribly out.
You can see it from the first scene in partly because you've been told about it, so you're looking for it. But then you see him smile, and you're just like, ugh.
It's strange. But
it also allows you to see what are reshoots and what are original stuff.
But the thing is, they didn't have to do that. Because in the comics,
Superman has a mustache.
No, he has a what's it called, a Dirty Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
In the comics, is it the sort of the dark Superman, and in the comics when he's died, you know how Superman's died in the movie, he comes back and he's like, it's the black costume that he's wearing, and he has a beard. So they should have just had him come back with a beard, and then they wouldn't have had to take the moustache.
If you watch that scene where he comes back, I think that's what they were going to do originally.
Yeah.
I think that was Zack Snyder's idea. And I really like Red Letter Media on YouTube.
Okay.
They do the Half in the Bags, and they were famous for doing like the first Everything Wrong with the Phantom Menace sort of videos back in...
That's an age away.
Yeah.
But they could have done it like years after.
Yeah, they did it like
the fact.
when YouTube sort of started, when it was still like 10, when you could still only have like 10-minute long videos. So this like 70-minute dissection of the Phantom Menace is in seven 10-minute parts.
That's crazy.
So they do commentaries that you can download and listen to while you watch the films.
Right.
And my friend was like, "Do you want to come around and watch Justice League?" And I was like, "No, I really don't." And he went, "Well, we can do."
So they actually do the commentary while they watch the movie, so you can sync it up. That's amazing.
Yeah. So they you should start doing some. You should look into that.
I was thinking about doing this because I've done a UFC like a watch along, but it was after the fact. It wasn't live, so I thought maybe doing some sort of movies or like when they release the Game of Thrones, you know, to watch them episode by episode.
Yeah, you just have to tell them, press play when the HBO thing finishes or something. So I was like, no, I don't want to watch Justice League again. Like, would you watch it with the Red Letter Media commentary? And I was like, I would. And they were pointing out like one of them is like well into his After Effects and things like that, and he was like, you can tell when they've changed the colors because the I'm the same from doing the pictures, is that you can tell when they've changed the colors and messed with the image because it looks so grainy and awful.
Right.
So you could see when it was original footage that they'd recolored to look like reshoots.
Wow.
And then you could tell what was reshoots because it looked like pristine.
Yeah.
Because that fight was at nighttime when Superman comes back, but then they've brightened it up.
Yeah. I thought that was a great fight.
Yeah, that's,
when they
that's
all
the
had
highlight. That's the highlight of the whole film, and that moment when the Flash realizes that Superman's like really fucking quick.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was one of the best scenes for me. A lot of people thought it was terrible, but I thought that was like such a good idea.
Yeah.
When
it's almost as if it's some sort of character moment rather than people just explaining things to each other.
Yeah. Did you see the latest one with when they have to fight? No, that is the latest one now. When they have to fight, was it Steppenwolf? Just terrible.
Steppenwolf is just like I really appreciated Thanos.
Yeah.
In like compared to Steppenwolf. Yeah.
I think I talked about this a few nights ago with one of my friends, and there's just so much for DC to catch up on at this point, and they're trying to take shortcuts, and it's not working. You know,
well, now
you
they're
can't
doing
have a collection and a team movie when you haven't even introduced some of these characters into that universe.
Especially when you introduce them twice. I think they introduced Aquaman twice in that film.
Really?
He has like his meeting Ben Affleck scene.
Okay.
And then he has his I'm rescuing this boat scene as well.
So
you're sort of introducing your character twice.
I know. And also with Steppenwolf, it's a massive CGI character. Basically has no heart. And they defeat him pretty easily. There's no struggle. We don't really care about the characters. They totally changed Wonder Woman in the Justice League movie as well.
She's back to eye candy again when she was like not eye candy in Wonder Woman.
It was terrible. Well, obviously, I think it's the difference between a massive project and a movie that sort of more has an independent feel, but is led by a woman. I guess it's more geared towards not just being eye candy.
Yeah.
And that showed because Wonder Woman was a huge hit, and it was the only. I saw a meme this morning, and it was basically, I think it was even from a comic, but it's Wonder Woman holding Superman and Batman and saying, "I've got this," and it was representing.
Like
she's
whole thing.
She's propping up the whole franchise.
And now they've got Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
Yeah, that's a different. He's going to be a different part of the universe. He's not actually in the DC regular universe.
So they're doing like the same thing Legion has done. It's like not part of X-Men then.
They're doing a DC Dark, it's called, so it's a standalone one.
Yeah, just keep just make loads and loads of universes. And I suppose it's like Logan.
Yeah.
Or Deadpool as well.
Logan's part of canon though.
Yeah, but is it?
Yeah. They'll bring him back somehow. Who do you think's going to play Wolverine now?
Get Dougray Scott, who was originally meant to play him.
Who's that?
He was in Mission Impossible 2.
Was his name
Dougray Scott. The bad guy from Doug Ray.
Doug Ray. Ah, what?
Yeah.
No.
He was the bad guy in Mission Impossible 2.
He's getting too old. Is that the Scottish guy?
Yeah, because he was in Mission Impossible 2, he didn't play Wolverine.
Don't think he would have been a good one.
And then we got the yet unheard of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, but he was a good choice, even though he. Leading up to the movie, this is the first time I was so annoyed by a casting choice because I loved X-Men when I was younger.
He's not short enough.
Yeah, that was it. He's not buff. He's not short. You know, and he's an Australian. Wolverine's not Australian, but seeing him, his personality took over. He was brilliant. And I was sad when I watched Logan.
Oh yeah,
because it was an end of an era. Like we genuinely felt like not that we had went through all these movies with Wolverine. It was that we went through Hugh Jackman went through this journey with us, and it felt sort of
Patrick Stewart as well.
Yeah, I think he's still continuing to do his movies though.
Well, they've
But sorry, just to finish that thought. It felt like he had went through this with us and shared this part of his life for 17 years, and it was coming to an end, and it was just, I did feel sort of that. A lot of emotion on it. I think that was the perfect time to release that type of movie for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a shame that it had to be the one at the end of his Logan career. But, yeah, great.
And then he went and did The Greatest Showman, which is also fantastic.
That is terrible. I'm not going to watch a movie that's about, exploitation historically,
Wasn't he the guy that like electrocuted the elephant or something?
No, I think that was Edison, was it not?
Yeah, he wanted to prove that
DC was terrible, yeah.
DC is terrible.
Well,
Bring this full circle.
But we should have figured out back then, which the band did later on. The AC/DC works really well together.
Perfectly.
For 60 years.
Until they either all forget or die.
Die off,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, AC/DC.
Are you a fan?
Yeah.
I was hugely, because I played a lot of music growing up. They were one of the first bands that I really got into.
I like anything that sounds cool out of a helicopter between the years of 1965 and 1972.
Did they play any AC/DC in any Vietnam movies?
No.
It's good when we heard it on Iron Man, or was it? Yeah,
it has that feel though, like that kind of something you would maybe now play if you were riding into combat or something.
Because there was obviously, there was AC/DC albums out at that time. I think 1965 was the first one.
Must be.
Angus Young was like 15 on the front cover, which is insane.
Yeah.
They've been going since then.
Where are they from?
They're Angus. I think they're all
were born
in Kerrymuir.
All right.
And that's why there's a statue of Bon Scott as well, the original vocalist. And then they emigrated to Australia. Yeah. And then that's when they start to get into the, beside Aelith.
Yeah.
And then the vocalist died, and they got Brian Johnson in. What a way to go, though.
Yeah.
But he died like vomiting, like choked on his own vomit after being so drunk. It's the rock and roll for you.
It's the way to go.
Maybe not glamorous.
Maybe not straight away.
It's not glamorous,
Put in a few more years, then die choking on your own vomit.
Are you saying you're gonna?
No.
That's the way you're gonna go out.
I think I'm gonna get turned into a lobster. That's where I'm gonna go.
Are you predicting your own future here?
I think I'll capture a couple of loners first, get a few extra days at the hotel, then turn into a lobster.
Yeah.
Or be turned into a lobster.
They should have mixed like Gran Paradiso with lobster. That'd be amazing. Like the hotel would have been that one.
I'd completely forgotten about that film.
Mateeb. I've been watching a lot of Bottom recently, so that's what made me bring that up. And if anyone's not watched it, it's on Netflix UK, I think, but it's from the 90s, early 90s, and it's the guys that made The Young Ones, which was a famous 80s TV show, and they went on to make Bottom, and it's about these two guys that live together, and there's a lot of hilarity ensues.
Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson.
Yeah. And they play Richie and Edward Hitler.
The only other Aid Edmondson thing I've ever seen is he was in a dramatization of the Chernobyl nuclear
was he
disaster.
Playing an Asian guy?
No, he played one of the.
Oh no, Chernobyl. Sorry,
Yeah.
He's Russian. Was he
he
Russian?
played one of the Russians.
No way.
It was really
Did
fantastic.
he have a good Russian accent?
I think they didn't do accents. I think they just did the
looking.
The boy in the striped pajamas thing and just have them talk with their normal accents.
Okay, yeah, that's a weird
Or
one.
Hunt for Red October.
That's a weird one in movies where you either go all out and everyone has to do accents or no one at all, because there has been cases where
it's some.
Yeah, and it's like, obviously, examples of that could be Daniel Day-Lewis. In some movies, he goes over the top and he makes everyone else's performance a bit shitty. Like, was it There Would Be Blood, because all the supporting cast were amazing in that. Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
If it didn't have Daniel Day-Lewis, it would have been a mediocre movie, but he completely overshadowed Leonardo and his accent was notoriously shit.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not a fan.
You're not?
No.
Really? I mean, I think he's amazing, but I think because he's put so much time into every movie and made solid movies, but not like amazingly Oscar-worthy performances. Yeah. I think he deserved the Oscar at the end just because.
Well, you mean like a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yeah, but he, but he
in the middle of his life.
But he, he's put in solid ones, but I don't think he's an amazing.
I always think he's outshined
actor.
by somebody else.
Yeah,
like in The Revenant, Tom Hardy was the best thing in it.
I thought the scenery was better.
The scenery,
or the bear. I couldn't understand Tom Hardy. He's notoriously like.
I really like Tom Hardy.
Are you speaking like Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
I was born in the darkness. That's such a strange one.
It's like Gandalf into a mug. It's like
Wizard, you shall not pass.
yeah, it's exactly like that.
He cost. I think it was it Dark Knight Returns or Rises. He cost that so much with the overdubbing. You know he has.
Is that true?
Yeah,
like they actually overdubbed it because people didn't understand
They
him.
did screen tests and they just couldn't understand Bane because it was all recorded obviously on set. There must have been some overdubbing like all movies, but you had to go back and do all of it overdubbed, and that's what saved the movie. And it was still a bit inaudible at some points.
Yeah.
But I thought he did a great performance.
Great bulking up as well.
Yeah,
like Bronson.
Well, he obviously used steroids.
Obviously.
Well, they all do.
Well, apparently when he played Bronson, he said all he did was eat pizza and play PlayStation and then shave his head.
I believe that for Bronson.
Yeah,
because he's like...
Yeah, he's just a bit schlubby.
But if you're an actor and you're going to take on a role like that, I mean, there's no way that Hugh Jackman didn't take steroids.
You think he did?
Of course.
You know about that better than me.
It's a tough one because that his body is like a lifetime of natural bodybuilding. That's the size he would be, but he's been on and off for so long, and I don't think he enjoys working out when he's not doing it for
himself.
Yeah. So I think he's had a little bit of help, and especially the age he was in the what is he, like 45?
Yeah.
And the age in the last one, I think he was definitely using something. Yeah. But it's just, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like it's not bad for you, steroids, as long as you don't abuse it, which happens in sports or people who are bodybuilding. They tend to do that, and that's what has negative effects. Like anything, you can take a paracetamol and it'll be your last. But it's only when it comes into sports where there are rules, whether it's a bad thing or not. So that's the thing. But yeah, he was on something, I guess. One of the big sort of markers of people taking something is traps, the ones up here.
Yeah.
Big traps means, because it's the hardest one to work out, and to get them huge is like you have to be on something. And Tom Hardy always has massive traps.
And then like they do those things where they like dehydrate themselves the day before, so everything kind of sticks out a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I was reading about that for The Guest.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Guest?
Yeah. Have I? I'm not sure I have.
Dan Stevens. There's a shirtless scene where he comes out of. They basically said we need something for the trailer.
Okay.
So you're going to do a shirtless scene, and they shot it at the end.
All right.
And he'd just come off of Walk Among the Tombstones, where he played like quite an emaciated character.
I've not seen this one.
Oh, you should watch The Guest.
Is it good?
Oh God, yeah.
Sorry, I was just
Watch The Guest.
It sounds great.
It's about a family's son dies in Iraq. And this soldier turns up claiming to have been in his unit, and that their son's dying wish was that he came and like checked on them and made sure everyone was okay.
Right.
And then he's really creepy, and it's got an 80s synth soundtrack. And it was kind of like the way it's described by the script writer was, it's like a serial killer.
Okay.
But it's like the opposite of Halloween, where he had a mask to cover his face. This guy's all face, like he's all like just exterior. Like he's handsome, he's like charming, and he just worms his way in.
Is it Bradley Cooper? No,
it's Dan Stevens.
The guy on the front looks like Bradley Cooper.
It's he was in Downton Abbey.
Yeah. He looks like.
He does look like Bradley.
Downton Abbey.
He was the chubby guy the chubby impotent guy in Downton Abbey.
Why are you watching Downton Abbey?
I'm not. I'm watching the stuff
he's
done.
You seem to know a lot about
I just know what he's done since. That's all.
They're making a feature-length movie of that now with the original cast or whoever.
He won't be in it. He's big now.
Okay.
Well, that's the guy from Legion.
Right. Okay.
Okay. That's the same guy.
Yeah, they say they're making it with all the original cast.
Okay, he'll be back. But
he'll
be ripped then.
Yeah. Have you watched Altered Carbon on Netflix?
Yeah. I've watched the first 3 episodes. I gave up.
Why?
Because it's awful.
It's amazing.
I can't handle Thomas Jane.
Is that the guy that's in RoboCop?
No. Thomas Jane is the guy who wants him to investigate his death.
Okay.
I can't. He was really off. He stopped me watching The Expanse as well.
Was he not in 300 at one point as well?
Thomas Jane?
Yeah.
No.
When he was younger, he was in something like that where it was a sort of historical.
He was in The Mist.
In the midst of what?
No, just The Mist. In the midst of The Mist, I should have said. Yeah.
He maybe did, or he maybe did do not what.
And
watch the rest of it. Honestly,
I hate Joel Kinnaman pisses me off as well.
he was
a
the
blank
same for
slate.
me. He was the same for me, but he's so good in this as well. I hated RoboCop, and I hated anything else he was in, but
Suicide Squad.
he was okay. He was okay. This is definitely his best performance.
Do you want to read out that line about Katana and how she steals the souls of her enemies in with one slice of her sword?
What did you think of Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad is awful.
There's one bit in it for me, and it was the sort of Mayan guy. The fireball guy.
like he.
And then when he turns into the Mayan king, the goddess, that was amazing, because I love all that type of like history and prehistory.
I'm glad you found something in Suicide Squad you like.
That was it though.
It's just
Harley Quinn,
a mess.
She was okay.
Margot Robbie's okay.
She was okay.
It's like do you watch Westworld?
Yes. Best
thing about the most interesting thing about Ed Harris's character is that he's played by Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Just repeating.
Do you not like Westworld?
Yes, I like and dislike Westworld almost at the same time while I'm watching it.
Okay.
It's the Christopher Nolan thing. Well, I mean, obviously it's his brother, but just hiding everything from you until like the last 5 minutes, and then go and you're like, okay, this is so it's like a Saw film then.
You basically could just fast forward to the last 5 minutes, but then what fun is that?
Well, what fun is that? Well, why not just like reveal stuff throughout and have us like enjoy a story?
You just want every movie to be like Memento, don't you?
No, I don't want it to be.
So they give you everything at the start, and you're like,
he wants everything to be like this weird, like, this is what you've been actually watching. Like, you think you've been watching something.
Yeah.
I'm watching this, and you're like, oh my god, you're so clever. And really loud musical cues as well to make you try and feel stuff. But the best part of Westworld was Tandy Newton. Yeah, like she was fantastic.
She's brilliant. Yeah,
and I really like.
Is that the black lady?
Yeah,
yeah. She's the owner of the whorehouse,
and then she's like looking for a daughter or something for the entire second season.
Yeah, her character was supreme when she starts to figure out who she is and what she's doing, and she starts to use it for advantage as well, which is amazing. And
I liked Shogun World.
Yeah.
Because I really like, that's the guy from Sunshine, the captain from Sunshine.
Okay.
He plays the
is there
Ronin.
Is the sequel the movie? Are you saying Ronin? What's Ronin World?
Shogun World.
Oh, Shogun.
They go to Shogun World in season 2 of Westworld.
Is it out yet?
Yeah, it's finished.
I've not seen.
I'm hoping that I didn't give away any. I don't think I gave you any spoilers there.
There were scenes from there were leaks leading up to the second one coming out, and it was images of like samurai.
Yeah.
So I
Shogun
assumed
World.
that. Is there much take place in that? Because it would be amazing.
There's a whole episode that goes there. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish they did the whole season there.
Like just called it
like
Shogun World.
Imagine traversing through like people who are Wild West people. What would you call it? Wild Westerners.
Wild Westerners.
Sounds like some sort of a teenage rom-com.
Yeah, like out there in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should just have them traversing season to season from different themed ones.
You see another park as well, which is like
Jurassic Park.
It's like India, like Raja, like that sort of Raj years, like that sort of thing, like adventuring. Okay. Like hunting tigers and things like that.
Wow. Because they must be like sort of extinct at this point, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know when Westworld is set. I'm guessing like tomorrow. Like that sort of thing of just setting it like not right now.
Yeah.
But no, season 2 is good. It's finished. You can watch the whole thing if you've got like Sky Atlantic or whatever.
It's crazy how it just sort of surpassed me. I've not been watching
I forgot like the Handmaid's Tale's back on. Handmaid's Tale.
Are you kidding me?
It's really, really good.
No, not that it's on, but it's who watches it?
I watched the first season. I thought it was really good.
The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Oh, it's her from
Mad Men.
Yeah.
She's a Scientologist.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Yep.
And they're still hiring them.
Yep.
She seems like the Scientologist type.
Oh, now that I've told you, you're like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
She looks like an alien. She's probably worshipped as a god. S or whatever, binary, whatever.
Oh, Mad Men's my favorite show.
Didn't get into it.
Hands down.
Couldn't get into it.
That's fair. I can understand that.
I think I was quitting smoking at the time, so I was like, I just
it
want
was
to
not
smoke all the time. Because every scene, they're like finishing and then lighting up another cigarette. So you can't do it. She was in, what did I watch recently?
Top of the Lake?
She was in Get Him to the Greek.
I haven't seen that.
You've not seen it?
No.
It's hilarious. Have you seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No. There's some. I imagine there must be some link between these films that stops me watching them.
Maybe,
I can't think what it is.
So you know the guy from How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
The main guy. What's his name?
Ted.
I don't watch it, but
The character's name's Ted. I couldn't tell you his name.
the guy with the Jufro.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tall guy. He made Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is amazing. It's about him.
Oh no, he's not the main character from. Yeah, I know who you mean. He did the Muppets.
Yeah. He did the He
wrote it or wrote the songs or directed it.
Have you seen this movie though? Like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He wrote this, and it's amazing. It's people think it's just going to be like a rom-com.
Yeah, it's got Russell Brand in it though.
But it starts off that he is dumped by the girl that he's in love with, who's a TV star on a shitty like a detective show like NCIS or something, and he's like just a sort of struggling musician. So it starts off with them splitting up. And she ends up going off with Aldous Snow, who's a rock star, which is
Russell Brand,
and he's like this sort of like free loving, you know, whatever. And the guy that gets dumped ends up going off to Hawaii, where they're which is where they were supposed to have their honeymoon. He goes there, meets Mylena Clunas, who's working at the hotel, and then the girl that dumped him ends up going to the same spot with her boyfriend, who is Aldous Snow. So they have to interact together, and he's just like, you know, a nice guy, a nice rock star guy, but he's banging his ex-girlfriend, which makes it awkward, and he wants to hate him, but he can't because he's like,
really super awesome.
But he's a bit like sort of, he's trying to bang everyone, you know, he doesn't care. And it's a hilarious movie. It's brilliant. But the character that Russell Brand played, Aldous Snow, they made another movie around that character with Jonah Hill, and he's like like a Sony exec that has to get Aldous Snow from England all the way to the Greek in LA to play like a comeback tour because his career's struggling. He released an album called African Child, and it was supposedly like said to be the worst thing to African empowerment since like, you know, all the slave wars and all that. So he has a terrible like just his career's gone down, but he's one of the last surviving rock stars. What's funny about it though is I feel that if Russell Brand has everything in line with being a rock star, you know, he's had the drug addiction, sex addiction, the look, you know, he's got the hair, he's funny and he's intelligent, can't sing. You know, I think he would have been a rock star in the 70s if he could just sing.
But he can't.
It's not that he has to, you know. He's a comedian. He's whatever. He's got a great podcast, and he talks really well. But if he could sing, I think he would have like dominated the world with whatever band.
It could have been like another Freddie Mercury or something.
All right, okay. Depending on how he can sing, you know, just a little bit.
But Elizabeth Moss is in it then.
She's Jonah Hill's wife in it. Okay. And there's like he's trying to get his career on track by being in this record company, and she's a nurse, and they barely see each other because her shifts are coinciding with him, and he's like a total beta male, you know. He's just like loves his wife, you know, and not that that's a terrible thing to do.
Total beta, but loves his wife.
But he's like he's the sort of the feminine one in the relationship. And yeah, it's hilarious. But it ends up Aldous Snow to sort of make them all, because Jonah Hill bangs women on the road because he thinks they're split up. Because she's like, let's take a break. Total Rachel and Ross situation from Friends. He thinks he's free to do whatever. Bangs a few girls, and she finds out, and then sort of to get back at him, Aldous Snow says they should have a threesome, which is one of the most awkward scenes in a movie I've ever seen. And it's just Russell Brand like perusing around naked with like chocolate strawberries, trying to get them two together, you know, and whatever. And it's Jonah Hill and she's like loving it.
I kind of want to watch it.
It is good. You know,
I think you've sold it to me.
And P
Diddy's in it.
What is his name now?
Puff Daddy.
I think
Puff Diddy.
No, he calls himself Love now. Is it Love Daddy?
Just Love.
He's he owns the company, the record company.
Oh, okay, right.
I think I can't remember what his name is now. He changed it like a million times. And
does it have like I'm sure there's like a wiki with like a timeline of the years of his of the different names he's had.
So yeah, he's now known as Love, I think. Yeah, Love. No, he calls himself Brother Love now. He went from Love to Brother Love.
Just
maybe he's slowly coming out that he's homosexual. He's
he just loves brother.
Yeah,
That's fair enough.
But yeah, he's quite hilarious in this as well.
He's done a couple of films, hasn't he? Doesn't he like basically always play himself?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't know how to be anyone else, I guess.
Why would you? Why would you want
It's
to?
worked for you that far. You know,
Yeah.
you're a billionaire, I guess. Is he?
You're gonna have to Google Brother Love's net worth.
Is it Brother Love?
Yeah.
But that must be hard to Google as well. Everyone will be like, Brother Love net.
Don't press enter after Brother Love.
I'm on the wrong website for that. Okay, net worth. This is from last year. If you're waiting with bated breath to know how much P. Diddy is worth.
Brother Love.
Or yeah, sorry. I'll need you here to sort of like prompt me every time from now on. He's 48 as well.
I can believe
Holy
that.
shit. Just doesn't age. He's nearly 50. It's funny when we're at that age now where we grew up with people who were a bit older than us and we're starting to see them age now.
Like proper old. I noticed that with Kirsten Dunst.
Why is it always Kirsten Dunst with you?
I'm sorry.
Said no one ever.
I said nobody ever, yeah.
Yeah, but she does look sort of a bit older in Midnight.
Yeah, Midnight Special. She looks like a mother.
But I don't know if they did that on purpose, maybe to sort of.
Well, I watched
because they looked like she put on a few lbs.
Two Faces of January. She looks older, and then she did a film last year called Woodshock about like taking some specialized weed or something to deal with her depression or something, and she walks around in like her underwear a lot in that, and she definitely she just looks a bit older, like, but she is older. 36 now.
I don't know how much it is. He says he wants to buy up the Panthers, whoever they are. Not the black ones.
No, the
football team.
Yeah, the.
I should know as well.
Oh, Scott's gonna hate me for that.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Cincinnati No. Anyway.
It's definitely. I think it's a C. I want to say it's a C.
So people are going to get bored of us.
Yeah, really bored of it. Like I honestly could talk about films.
Yeah, me too,
day.
man. Like it's just hard to find someone who's like could talk about it all the time as much as I could. Yeah, you do photography as well.
I do photography.
When did you start?
2 years ago.
Okay.
2.5 years ago actually, and I realized I bought like a cheap ass camera, the ones that you can get at Argos, like a DSLR, and I enjoyed it a lot.
That doesn't mean anything now because you can get some quite good ones.
You can get quite good ones with that, and then it was the 10-year anniversary of my mum's death, and I'd never touched the money she left me.
Okay.
Because I was always like afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like it's this big. It's like you don't want to waste it. Like that's what she left you. And then it turned out because I hadn't touched it in 10 years, it had gained like 50%.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
no way.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I highly recommend St. James Palace Investments. St. James Place, actually.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No,
I recommend the death of a family member.
I also recommend the death of a family member if you're looking for a large amount of money.
God.
So I was like, I think I'm gonna buy some nice gear. I'm gonna buy like a nice body, some nice glass, and take it seriously not because you need that, but when you have it, you feel like you have to use it, and because of the where the money came from, then I felt like I would use it more.
And there are things like with music and with PCs, you're looking for that better and better thing to make it complete it. But when you get to that point, there's something else that makes your pictures better.
Yeah, there's always another lens I could buy. Like right now, I've got like 2 lenses I would really love to buy, and I think about it all the time. And I'm always like, if I just had a spare grand lying around or something.
I'm sure.
So I don't know. So I got that, bought that stuff, and within 6 months, I'd had a paid gig.
Wow.
Shooting a orchestral concert for a student orchestra at Glasgow University.
Cool. Because
I worked with somebody who played cello.
Right. Okay.
And they were complaining about the photographer they'd hired, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a photographer." So I did that. got paid. I was like, yeah, I can actually like make money from this, and my pictures are good.
So was it a genuine interest in it? But leading up to that, was it something that you wanted to pursue?
Looking back, I can see I had an interest in it.
Okay.
And I can also see, funnily, that my mum was pushing me, because she got me like, this was like before digital kicked off and you still had film. You know those film canisters that would wind themselves?
Yeah.
Like the one of those, you just put it in and it did it all.
Yeah.
So I had one of them, and she got me that for Christmas. And yeah, and I love film, love watching film, love seeing images, and like seeing how they piece together. So I have an eye from like 20 years of watching cinema intently.
Cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography. But photography is a bit different because it's more like videography. You have to capture what's there rather than creating it.
Can you use it? Can you attack it from that angle though? Like, can you picture in your head things that you've seen in movies and how they sort of they put it in frame or whatever?
Yeah.
Could you try and replicate that in one shot? Is it something that you do, or do you just is it completely different photography?
No, it's not. It's not complete. Sometimes you'll take a picture and think, oh, that looks like this from this, because that person's standing where somebody else stood in frame in a film and things like that. And I have found myself seeing that when I see things and take pictures. But I prefer event photography, and that's you just have to capture what's there, like in front of you. You don't get to like stand people or like lift them up and place them. Yeah. And it's not like landscape photography where you can like move around and wait. You have like this 2-hour period to get X number of photographs that will make the client happy and maybe make you happy as well. Hopefully, the best of both worlds is to do both. And like people say that you can, the least number of photographs you could give somebody is one. Like if you could capture that one picture that got everything. Like obviously it's the dream.
You can't do that though.
You can't, but you could.
Yeah.
You could get that one photograph that could capture everything and everybody would be happy, but it never happens.
So you're continually looking to sort of get better, I guess, to sort of be able to get closer to that.
So I did the concert, and then I thought, okay, I want to do something for myself. Not that I didn't enjoy doing that, I should say, in case any of the people in the orchestra are listening. It was great fun. I like all of you.
Except that one guy, the violinist.
Yeah, apart from that one violin guy, you know who you are. So I
think I saw your pictures from that, because that was when
I've done a couple. Yeah,
I started to realize that you were doing that sort of thing, and I was looking at them. I was like, yeah, you seem like you've got. Because over the years, the various things I've done has meant that I've had to interact with people who are doing photography. Yeah. So it seemed like your first pictures, when I saw them, it looked like you had something there as well. You know, I knew it was, and obviously I know the way you think, just from high school, and you being part of the geeky.
I was definitely. I got into photography technically. As soon as I found out that it's just like a pipe that lets light in, and it has like an aperture that opens and closes, and then I was like, okay, I know how this works. So I understand all the settings and things like that. Yeah. And then once you've got that just down to muscle memory, like messing with the fiddling with the buttons and things, then it's just a case of like what's through there.
So it's something that always seems like a foreign language to me, and I think I always admire people that can sort of look at whatever's going on and sort of change their camera to suit that without even sort of, having to take a billion pictures. You're just...
The camera helps, because they have light meters, so you can watch it until it's supposed to, until the camera thinks that it's fine or whatever. But a lot of the time you're just like, I go out once a week, usually, and just shoot something, just to get used to it's like this, so I need these settings, and that's a good place to start. Take one picture, look at it, adjust, or whatever. Or put it into auto if you think you're not going to have the time to constantly adjust it. Yeah. Not like auto.
Like an M16.
It's like they call it the exposure triangle. You've got your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture. And usually what you'll do is you'll put one of them into automatic, and then control the other two, and then the camera will do the third one.
What do you put in? Does it interchange, or is it?
No, generally I'll do aperture priority, so I'll control the aperture, and then the camera will say, "Oh, this is what shutter speed you'll get." And then if you notice it going too high or too low to what you want, you can do the third leg to balance it.
Right. Okay.
So I did the concert, and then I wanted to do something for myself, and I grew up until the age of 7 in the village called Birkhead, up near Elgin.
Yeah.
And on January 11th every year, they have a fire festival called the Burning of the Clavey.
Right, okay.
Where they cut a whiskey barrel in half and they fill it full of staves and tar and set it on fire, and then they carry it through the village.
This is what these people do for fun in these little places.
And this is in these little fishing villages. And it's been going on for centuries.
Wow.
Like, they don't even remember when it started.
How it started.
Yeah. So my gran still lives there, and I phoned her and I said, I want to come up and take photographs of the Clavey. Can I stay with you like overnight? And she went, yeah, that's fine. And I'll talk to Billy. You know Billy. No. Yeah, she said, Billy. I was like, oh yeah, Billy. And you can turn up the day, if you want to come up the day before, you can get photographs of them making it as well.
Oh wow.
Which you can only get into by invitation.
Oh wow.
And
it's like the lottery.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Lottery? You know the short novel, the short story. It's the famous one. It's basically a village has to like put all their names in, and then one gets picked out, and the whole village stones them to death. It's kind of similar to that.
Yeah, I guess. And so I went on. I did remember Billy, like when I saw him, and like
Billy.
Oh yeah, Billy. I didn't know his name was Billy. And so I went along. They went along to the place where it was getting made, and everyone looks at you like, "Who are you? Like, what are you doing?" And Billy was like, "Oh, this is Molly's grandson." Oh, Molly's grandson. Oh, you're Chris's boy. Oh, that's fine. And you come. And you
threw you in.
Yeah, and that's it. It's just like small town.
Yeah.
It's just a small village. It's
but when
who you know.
When they get, if they know you're like of sound, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you're treated like nothing else.
And then like you can only carry the Clavey. You can only be part of the Clavey crew if you're like born of Burghead. No. It's one of those sorts of things.
That's amazing.
So I could, I suppose, technically carry it.
Okay.
Because I was born there. Born in Elgin, nearby.
Imagine if you did, you could probably make a movie out of this.
Born in Aberdeen, yeah.
You know, you're gonna go there. You're the kid from out of town, but you're born there, and everyone's like, "Oh, is this it?"
He's coming back.
And then you're gonna make your way into sort of carrying the Clavey, and they're gonna be like, "He doesn't deserve to be here."
And then like I prove them wrong.
Like how though? How would you do that?
By carrying it.
Okay, by yourself.
Yeah. And it's it weighs like 100 kilos, like when they've got
and
everything
it's on fire.
And it's on fire, yeah. So I took some. It's very hard to take photographs of something that's on fire, and for them not to look dramatic and look awesome.
Right.
And it was blowing a gale, and it was like sleet and snow.
Wow.
And, like, pissing with rain, and
so you're getting all the weather.
And then like that was like the worst conditions, like imaginable. And everything since then has been so easy. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I want to do this sort of photography. And then you're trying to find like that beeline that goes through everything that you're doing, and then like focus on that, which I imagine is what you're doing with the podcast.
Yeah.
Like trying to piece together what interests you from each person, and then like so you can focus on that next time and like get straight down to it.
Yeah.
So I
cut the fat.
Cut the hour-long conversations about Kirsten Dunst out of your podcasts.
Sorry. Someone else is a freak out there. They probably love it just as much as you do.
So I think what I like is photographing the esoteric, like that small group of people who enjoy doing something and getting in amongst them as they do it. Yeah. Which is what I maybe did with the concert with the students, because it's a student orchestra and they're like a charity. Yeah. And they don't do it for profit. Okay. They do it for like cheap drinks, I think.
That's amazing. So it's like sort of. Do you remember the Tribe series of the guy from?
I do.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but in a way you're doing it with your camera instead of being actually there and taking part. You're just there to be privy to this thing that's been going on for however long, without any interference, I guess.
And like lots of people turn up to take photographs of the Clavey every year. Like the Courier comes out, or whatever the local paper Courier is.
They didn't get to go in and touch the Clavey.
Yeah, and then they were like, we never see the pictures.
What?
Yeah, they said like we have to sign like waivers and stuff to get access to the pictures, so they don't want to bother. And I was like, I'll give you some prints. Like I'll print off some pictures and post them to you. So I did that, and I think that put me in their good books quite a bit. So if they ever decided to choose someone to come up and do pictures, I imagine I might be higher up the list than other people.
That's cool though.
Yeah, and I did another concert after that, and I do all their concerts now for the orchestra. And
that's cool though, but it's just about making all these connections. Yeah. It's not, obviously you're there to
I didn't get paid for it.
Yeah, and it's not a business at that point, but it's good to just sort of get a feel for everything as well, and which direction you can go down, or what even interests you. Like you're saying, you know, you want to go down this path, but it's.
So I went along to like Comic-Cons and started photographing them. And and then I realized that I'm just another GWC at Comic-Cons.
Right.
A GWC is a guy with camera who like uses the fact that he has a camera to take photographs of attractive women in cosplay costumes, and I saw so many of them.
One of those asterisk type folks, you know, the ones I'm talking about, the ones that put things in a
and you just, what's the Billy Connolly thing? You just want to go fuck yeah, and just grab them and break their fingers.
So it's a weird sort of spot, that, because there's never been a sort of a time where a bunch of geeks who wouldn't normally get to see any sort of women like that in person and up front, and for it to be them in the sort of celebrating the culture that they're part of. I mean, like geekery, obviously, and all the thing that goes along with it. So to have hot women prancing around into stuff that you're into, it then starts to bring out this sort of weird masculinity that comes from it. Like, it's sort of like a hyper beta-ness to it. It's like a weirdness.
And I like, if you go on like specific, there's like Tumblrs that are specific to like bad con experiences and stuff.
Oh no.
And you read horror stories about like girls who get pulled to the side by these guys to like, let's take some photographs off like away somewhere. Like, and I realized I don't want to be one of these guys.
No,
so I wasn't there taking pictures of people in costume. I was there. Well, I was taking pictures of people in costume, but I wanted them to look like people in costume.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to be posing.
Okay.
I wanted them to look so mundane in like their ornate like cap. I've got this amazing picture of like a guy dressed as Captain America who looks so petrified, like to be like what I don't know what he was looking at or like what, but he just looks
possibly Thanos.
He just looks so afraid.
Yeah. That's great. So you're taking pictures of the experience as opposed to that, so like being part of it and actually there to give these people their pictures.
If somebody comes up to me like, oh, can you get a picture of me doing my pose? Like, I'll do it because it takes like 2 seconds. Yeah, but it's not what I'm interested in.
That's cool though.
You're always trying to balance what people want from you with what you want for yourself.
Of course, you got to play the game.
You got to play the game. So I'm doing that. I'm going down to London next week for London Film Comic-Con.
No way.
I'm going to do the same thing down there. Yeah. And then take 2 days out to visit my aunt and uncle.
So is it part of Comic-Con that you're taking photos? Is it through them or is it just yourself?
No, it's just myself. Okay. Sadly.
Do you wear like a lanyard so you're like, hey, come to me?
I've worn a lanyard that said photographer on it.
Wow. Did you print it off yourself?
No, I got it from the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland.
Oh, right,
they were like, you need this or somebody might ask you to stop.
I bet there's a bunch of people that try and get away with that at Comic-Con as well.
But I think like when I have, because they've used my pictures like without asking. Okay. So I think
that's
in
weird.
Wearing the line, I think that in taking photographs there, I've like agreed that they can use them.
That's not how it works though.
No, it's not, but if you're, I might have agreed to something.
You can
by being there.
You should have just watermarked all your.
Don't like
Why? You don't want to trace. That's it. You don't want people knowing that. You just want to be this sort of background character taking pictures.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of watermarks.
Right.
It's a branding thing.
Yeah.
Like you want if you want your brand out there, it's a good way to do it. Wedding photographers need like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a business idea.
It's a business idea.
I guess when you're just doing it for the fun of it, or it's not something you really.
And then when I give when I do get paid, like I give them strict, like you can do X, Y, and Z with them, but you can't do this, or this. So if I do see it somewhere else, like I know I can trace it back to, have you given this to somebody? But like if somebody just like, let's say it happens all the time, the orchestra put the pictures on Facebook, and then people start using them for their profile pictures. Because it's all just shitty Facebook compression.
It doesn't. They never like.
They're not selling on like the original raw files or anything.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, there was some of the shots I've used for the podcast. Is one I did just before one of my last fights. I think it was my last fight actually, and I was cutting weight. You know, I was like stupidly thin at that point because I was dehydrated, and it was the day before the fight because I went to go get a haircut. Because I want to look sharp while I'm fighting.
And you don't want them to have anything to grab onto.
That's why I shave everything. And someone asked me if I wanted to do some shots. It's a guy that was going around. I can't remember his name actually. Steve Cairns? No, can't remember his name. He was a good guy. He's a Dundee photographer, and basically he was going around barber shops around the world and collecting photos of people that just had like shots, and he'd do them all over the country and wherever he goes. You know, just people who've just had a haircut or
like a personal project thing.
Yeah, and he would just, and then he took them and he sent me them, and I've used them for the podcast, and he had no problem with it, you know. He just thought it was, you know, use them for whatever you want. And I said, you know, I might use it for this, and he was like, sure, whatever. But with that one, he does copyright some of his images. That's when he does through his business. Yeah. But this one, like you're saying, he didn't have any watermark on them.
And you've asked, like, honestly, if somebody just asked, I would just say yes. But if you see it, and nobody's like bothered to find out, you're sort of like.
But people aren't aware of it though, that can be a problem.
But like photographs are worth nothing to a lot of people, because of how easily they take them. They don't realize how much time and effort and money I've put into like doing what I do.
Photoshop. And do you use Photoshop?
I use Lightroom.
Okay. What's the difference?
Photoshop is like more of an image editor. Okay. Whereas Lightroom is like what you used to do in the darkroom. That's why it's called Lightroom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You basically just change the exposure, bring up the shadows.
So you're not going too deep into
it? No, you're not.
You're just using
you can maybe go in and remove stuff, but that's like the lengths. You don't you're not adding things using Lightroom.
Yeah.
It's basically filters.
Okay.
But far more complex.
Yeah.
Like you'll get like 10 or 15 sliders. And if you choose a filter on Instagram, it will do all those sliders to a certain amount the same way every single time. Yeah. But what I'll do is go in and tweak them all myself.
Individually. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be the thing. I mean, I think I've used, there's an app I use on my phone sometimes. I think it's actually related to Lightroom, maybe Snapseed.
All right.
Have you heard of that one? It's a brilliant sort of one for if you're taking ones through your phone. Yeah. It's as close as you can get to sort of Lightroom and all that.
Yeah. The problem is Lightroom's a subscription.
Yeah. I mean, I'm subscribing to Adobe Audition. Yeah. For recording, obviously, and it's amazing. You know, it's super cheap. It's an amazing.
How much is Audition?
I think I pay $19 a month, so maybe like £12 a month.
I'm £10 a month for it's the photography Adobe thing, and you get Lightroom and Photoshop.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's the amazing thing about Audition. You can sort of pay monthly for it and combine some of them. You know, there's ones that they don't combine that are annoying because they're the ones
everybody wants. Premiere.
Yeah, and you can't get it.
No, you need to buy the whole suite to get Premiere Pro or something.
So frustrating because a lot of people would. I think that's something they're missing out on with the Premiere
like
Pro.
£50 a month?
Yeah, because there's so many people making content now that can't afford to sort of use that high end one.
If it existed on its own, I imagine they might make a fortune. But I'm sure they must have run the numbers and realized that they wouldn't. Yeah, or something. I don't know.
But Adobe are killing it with these sort of like pay. There's a few plugins I use as well for sort of editing later on, and these are like high end industry standard plugins, and I'm renting them from Splice. I think I pay like £12 a month, and these just are amazing. Like,
they're just sort of like presets.
And you can actually, it's rent to own. So, you keep paying every month and then eventually you'll own them, but it just cuts off if you don't pay and then resumes when you pay again.
All right. So you can stop when you don't need them.
Yeah. So it's like really loose. It's not even a contract. It's just when you can, and when you build it up, they're yours.
Sweet.
It's so splice.com is the where you can go, and these are like high end ones as well. It would probably cost me close to £500 if I was trying to buy it.
Well, that's the way it used to be with like Photoshop and stuff. We when we were growing up, we never owned. we cracked keygen, like Photoshop all the time.
But it was like sort of just it was
because it was like £500 or something, and you had to pay that every year to get the updates.
I know. But it seemed it was normal to do that sort of thing. If you didn't have the money, you'd just be like, crack.
I need Counter-Strike 1.6. Yeah.
Or Unreal Tournament, whatever. Do you remember playing Unreal Tournament in IT class in high school? That was one of the best things about high school.
We installed Counter-Strike Source one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
It was on some of the
computers, though. It's like LNX. Is that even a make still? I don't think.
Oh God, I don't remember. But yeah, we played those games. And yeah, so the subscription thing is so much better.
Yeah.
I imagine they make so much more money.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously they'll space it out more and put a little bit of sort of interest on it or whatever.
I need to update my billing information. I changed my it keeps coming up every time I open Lightroom. It's like you've got 13 days left, 12 days left.
Yeah, I'm the same because I lost my card and I haven't cancelled it and got a new one. I don't know why. I think I was just trying to do it before my holiday because it would have been a pain in the butt to get my card while I was away. So I'm going to do it this week, but it means I'll have to update all the nonsense.
How was France?
Amazing. Yeah, it was really good. For the people that don't follow me on Instagram, essentially, I was in southwestern France. Don't know the name of it still because it was super rural. My girlfriend's parents have a friend who have a villa there, so we all went down there and it was insane. They had a sea salt pool as well, which I've never experienced, but it was like really lightly salted. So it was fine. I think it was to do with, so you're not getting chlorine on you. It's a bit more natural as well. And my girlfriend and her family are big fans of the Tour de France, which was on at the time and currently is. One of the stages was 3 hours away from where we were staying, so we took the car, drove a round trip of 8 hours somehow because we were trying to find this place just with a map, and then eventually I downloaded the Tour de France app, and it has like a GPS thing on it where it says which part of the stage do you want to go to, and then it fills in.
And then you can be like, oh, you need to get here, like such and such.
So the app took us to a blocked off road off the motorway, which you can't get off to get, like the tour. To get to the tour for us, we had to come off the motorway, and it was completely blocked by traffic cones. Like they weren't letting people pass or get through there. So we went to the next turn off, again blocked, and we could see the tour from the bridge, and we were watching people watch the tour because it went over the bridge, but we didn't see any of the riders, obviously.
Right. So you heard the cheers.
Yeah.
And
so we're like, okay, we're going to have to try and find some way to intercept the road on a little tiny road off the motorway because it's blocked from every possible turn off. And eventually we found this little winding road, went down just as we parked up, and we were walking towards the road that was round a bend. That stage ended and everyone started walking towards us. So we're like, fuck. So basically we watched people watching the tour and that was it.
But you got you got closer than the Tour de France than you'd ever been before.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Last year it was a TV. So
there you go.
But it's worse when you're like a good, maybe, I guess, quarter of a mile away from the
Oh, well. At least you got to stay in a villa with a sea salt pool.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then there was like a barn and all that. And my partner, she can't cycle, but she loves the Tour de France, which is strange, you know.
Okay.
Like can't ride a bike.
It's like a vicarious thing.
She's one of these people that if she can't do it like straight away, she just gets annoyed, and she had a bad experience with it, you know. She likes to be good at things straight away. Mm-hmm. So she just never learned after that. So I was like, you can't like the Tour de France and not ride a bike. So I taught her how to ride while we were over there, and I had a video of her just like cycling full clip. But it's kind of easier to teach an adult, I guess. Yeah. Because they know how, they have some sort of idea of sort of body mechanics and motion and sort of gravity as well, I guess. So
and they don't just pedal like mad and fall over.
Yeah. And it was easy. I mean, she must have had a little bit of experience from when she fell over, the bad experience when she was younger, but she hadn't ridden a bike since she was like 12 or something. So, and guess what? Oh. It is just like riding a bike.
You do remember. There's a great video, Smarter Every Day, the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And some engineers created a bike handle that works the opposite way. So when you turn right, the wheel goes left.
Bastards.
And you just can't do it.
Really?
Because your brain is so you have to completely change your way of thinking. So he spent like 6 weeks doing it over and over and over and over. And eventually he learned to ride it.
Right, okay.
But then he couldn't ride an ordinary bike.
I think there are people that probably could naturally do it because, say, if you're reversing with a trailer, that is different from actually just steering the way it's going. You have to do the opposite to get the trailer to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
So I assume maybe people who have done that before, like, I've done it growing up. So I think it may be a bit easier, but that is a total mindfuck, though. Like, just to be turning your hand, like, to go to the right.
Because you constantly try to compensate, and then you're still compensating in the wrong direction.
Yeah, because it'll be about weight displacement, and if you're putting yourself to go left, and you're leaning left, but your arms are going right, that's so weird.
And the wheel's going like the other way. Yeah, oh God. So, and then, but he got his son to do it, who was like 6 years old. Like, did it in like under half the time. Yeah. Because his brain's obviously more plastic.
Yeah. But I think maybe because she had a little bit of experience from when she was younger, that maybe have helped then. But yeah, it just makes sense that kids are blank slates and you'll be able to do it.
When I'm on holiday now, I like to take all my gear with me and find like something to photograph. So I'd have loved to have gone and done the Tour de France.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. Yeah.
I might have been able to get a picture that you could see from a quarter of a mile, and we could zoom in on and be like, oh look.
But you would probably take pictures of the people watching it anyway, so you wouldn't need to watch.
I would need to put the cyclists in there to tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll usually do is I'll get the tourist shit out of the way, like in the first little while, and then I'll search on Facebook, find out if something is happening.
Right. Okay. That's cool though. Did you say you photographed a Trump?
I went to a pro. This wasn't like a Trump rally. Like Trump wasn't there.
Okay.
But it was a pro-Trump rally in Washington D.C. I'd done all the shit. I'd done the White House, all the monuments. I had a cheery afternoon at the Holocaust Memorial Museum.
Of course, yeah.
And
it's a nice stroll through there.
Went to the Arlington Cemetery as well.
Okay.
Which is
that the one for the troops?
There's like. It just goes on like forever, and Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and all that. And I was like, okay,
is that a combination of World War I, II,
there's one
Vietnam and
Korea? There's 4 of them. There's like the big one is the whoever from World War I, they don't know.
Okay. And
then they change the guard every half hour, and that's when they inspect the uniform and they flip the guns around and
why?
It's really cool actually. The guy looks really scary.
Right. Okay. Like, well, if he's flipping a gun around.
Yeah. But I mean, like, then that, like, dress guns, like, flipping it around, checking it, like, making sure there's no dirt on it and things like that. And then swapping the guard over. Accidentally shooting people. There's great videos of, if, like, tourists talk too much, he will run over and, like chew them out and tell them to shut up.
Not like Beefeaters down in England where they just, you can do anything.
Well, have you not seen those? There's famous
There's
videos.
A few ones, yeah. I think those are people that just finally snapped. But they're trying to shout at them like they're still
professionals.
Yeah, it's like, no.
So I did a Google search, a Facebook search, and I was like, oh, it's Saturday, it's Washington, something must be going on. And it was like, oh, there's the mother of all rallies, it was called.
Wow.
And they wanted 1 million people to be there.
When was it? Just out of
September. I went on the Tuesday that night. I'm guessing it was like September the 13th.
Okay.
Or September the 15th. I'm going to say.
And how long after when he had got into office?
This was a year after.
Wow. So
this was only in 2017 I did that. And they wanted 1 million people there. They wanted it to be like the start of a new type of rally. There was
rally.
There was maybe 700 in total. I got bored after 90 minutes, but there were some weirdos there.
I can only imagine.
Like Hell's Angels and like
there's a type of weirdo that only exists in America.
Yeah, and who travels to Washington D.C.
There's nothing that we can equate it to throughout any other parts of the world. There's just this weird. It must be a throwback to the puritanical, religions and whatever that founded America, and there was just the weirdos that couldn't exist over here, and they were religious, so they came over to America and,
they got
founded it. And I think this is where a lot of it stems from, maybe. But it's a surrealness and an over the topness, weirdness to some Americans that can only be found there.
Yeah, and these guys, they were desperate to argue with somebody about something. Like a couple of a bunch of anti-fascists turned up and like lefties and stuff, and there was like arguments going on. Wow. There was a really surreal moment that I got photographed where some anti-fascists have turned up,
Right.
and some other guys have gone to like conflict with them, and they're just surrounded by cameras.
Wow.
So you can't actually see them. You can see people like holding up like big TV cameras, just trying to get the image of like the fight.
But that's indicative of what's going on in today, you know.
And then in the foreground, you've got like one 40-year-old guy screaming in like a girl's face.
Wow.
And then at the moment when I took that photograph, the national anthem was playing on the stage. It was just like it was a carnival weird like sort of thing.
That is like surreal as well.
And what's great is the camera gives you a distance from it,
Right.
and nobody like
even if you're close, there's still a bit of a sort of space
you're putting
between.
up that barrier between you and them. And people were telling me that they'd rescinded my right to take their photograph.
Which doesn't exist, you know. It's you're in a public place.
I before I go places, especially if it's another country, I will just do a quick search and just find out what am I allowed to do, what am I not allowed to do. And essentially, if you're in a public place, I can take your photograph. I just can't like sell it without getting like a signature from you or something.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird thing that people try to say like I rescind your blah 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 blah. It doesn't happen like that. If you're in a public place, people can film you. You know, you don't have to give permission or whatever. I think there's maybe if you use it on something.
If I was to put that picture of that guy like on a tea towel or something and try to sell it.
Yeah. But you can put it on YouTube without him having to ask, you know. And if he asks you to like blur him out, I think you have to, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is that like the...
It's, if somebody didn't want to be associated with that and you have somehow like outed them as a pro-Trump supporter.
A pedophile.
Or pedophile. The two are they're mutually exclusive.
There are such a thing as two bad things in this world.
So, and yeah, it was just like a bunch of people who really wanted to argue with anybody about anything.
Yeah, they're there to sort of...
And there was one guy, like there was a couple of scary looking guys, and they had like the iron crosses on their hats and stuff, like on their baseball caps.
Wow.
And they were the people I didn't want to take a photograph of like straight on in case they like saw me.
Just peripheral.
So there's a lot of like scary people photographed from the side.
Yeah.
I'll say that. in like beautiful profile with the American flags and the Capitol building behind them.
You have to just super zoom out so you can get pictures of everyone.
And like that was weird, and that was good practice. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed like taking the pictures, even if I got bored after half an hour.
What's your sort of view on the whole Antifa and then Trump thing, supporters as well? Like, is there something that you have any thoughts on? Or
That's the great thing about taking the pictures. Yeah. Is that I suppose you can look at my pictures and decide if I had some views on it. They definitely made it easy for me to make them look like fucking weirdos. Yeah. Because a lot of them were dressed in like, just like stars and stripes, but with like an eagle with hands holding like a scepter. If you look at some of them,
that's very
I'm
Third
just gonna
Reich.
like switch my phone on to the side here and maybe show you in a minute.
That's very Third Reich, you know, like it's all very.
And then like the anti-fascist guys, they're all like they got their sunglasses and their Chairman Mao beards, like this just straggly like with the kind of like the Che Guevara facial hair and stuff.
I think
they're both just trying to rile each other up, and they both like it's just like a constantly widening gap of opinion.
I think I mean it's less and less today because everyone's got an opinion, but I think that old school sort of reporter or journalist or someone who is taking video or is photographing events, they're always sort of like impartial, like they're not taking any sort of political stance, and I think that's a sort of very like a symbol of someone who's in these type of positions. They have to be, you know. They're oh my god, you have to see. Are they on your Facebook page?
Yeah, like I'll link you to the.
Yeah,
I think I must have created like an album of them, but like there were some.
That's hilarious. So obviously these two women are wearing these massive stars and stripes T-shirts. Oh my god, that's a moustache. And there's a giant eagle on it, which is amazing.
And then so you have like the guys, the people who are literally like wrapping themselves up in the flag, and then you have like the security for the event. I just did that thing.
Air quotes,
and
which is good for a podcast.
Good for a podcast.
What would the sound of a air quote be?
Me saying air quotes.
trying to make a whooshing noise
like
with my hand.
You just kind of you put like a question mark at the end of the word.
All right, okay.
So you just say security, and they're not veterans. They're just guys who went to a shop and like bought like earpieces and stuff, and then like communicate. And they've all got these soup strainer mustaches, and like they obviously couldn't get into the army. Yeah, and then wish they could have, but they maybe even couldn't get into the reserves. Yeah, and then they just turn up and do security.
A lot of them are fakers, though. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're aware of. There's a YouTube channel called Stolen Valor.
I'm aware of Stolen Valor, yeah.
And this, I think he's an ex sort of Marine or something. Is along he an
ex Navy
lines.
SEAL?
Yeah,
and he's got like the contacts that he goes back through to find. Yeah, I've seen him.
And he goes. People send him people that they think are maybe talking shit about their history in the military. So then this guy will take everything that they've said or the evidence that they've put forward that they've been in certain, whatever, throughout any wars, obviously not World War II maybe, and then they've got a bunch of medals that no one's ever got either, and twice, and he goes and confronts these guys and says, look, you're basically desecrating a legacy of people who've been in the military by doing this. You're faking it, and you're giving yourself
I think it's a federal offence, actually.
Yeah, and you're giving yourself a bunch of medals that don't exist, and you couldn't get twice either. You'd have to be 100-year-old for some of these to happen to you, and it's such a strange one.
And it's born out of like that weird fetishism they have for the military over there, and like. Thank you for your service. Yeah. I've been thanked for my service for wearing a United States Colonial Marines t-shirt from Aliens. When I've been over in the States.
No way, that's hilarious.
And I have a friend in Portland who gets like thanked for his service when he's wearing like his Halo t-shirt.
Well, they think he's Master Chief.
They're so worried that they aren't going to thank somebody.
But it's a strange one. Like these. That is something that is very symbolic of America, is this sort of extreme patriotism, and this is where we are now. We have Trump in office, and I thought with Obama, even though he did a lot of stuff, and even more so terrible in his office than previous generations. And I don't think it was him. I think it was just the government, that did it. Yeah. I thought that was going to be a symbol for change. That was what his whole premise was based on, was change. And it just, you have this sort of guy who's super intelligent, speaks really well, and just carries himself so well. No sort of big upsets when he was there. With his family.
No walking in front of the Queen.
Oh, who cares? This whole thing where they've talked about Trump walking in front of the Queen, like, it's stupid. It's like, she's just an old woman. She's nothing.
You're nothing.
No, but she's not.
Walks up to Queen Elizabeth. Nothing.
She's not.
You're nothing.
She's nothing. Well, she's another human being.
Yeah, but it's just like, but he'll have been briefed. He'll have been given a list of things not to do. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. He's being
defiant.
Yeah, and he's just like, I'm going to walk in front of the Queen.
Yeah, I'm going to walk in front of the Queen.
So, and then the same day, there was this Trump rally. Yeah. That was down at, towards the Capitol. You've got the Capitol, the Washington Monument, and then the Lincoln Memorial, in a big long line. Yeah.
I know those from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. and Fallout 3.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And then when you go towards the Lincoln Memorial, there was a meeting of the Juggalos.
Okay. So the Insane Clown Posse fan base, they call themselves Juggalos while painting their face.
And Too Dope and the other guy.
Trudeau? Is that what you said, Trudeau?
Too Dope is I hope you don't have like a big ICP following for this.
Probably not, really.
Basically Insane Clown Pussy were there.
Insane Clown Pussy.
Insane Clown We're back to Leo and Tobey Maguire.
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, they were there because they were doing a march on Washington. Right. Because being a juggalo, they're a gang legally. Yeah. Like the FBI designated them a gang.
That's crazy.
Because some fans have committed crimes. Okay. But it means if you have like an ICP tattoo, you can lose your job. Wow. Because it counts as a gang sign. No way. So they want they want to be removed off the FBI's gang list. Okay. So instantly, like that meeting and rally was so much like better, like planned.
Yeah.
And, like had a laser focus. Shit.
Yeah.
Had like a laser focus on what it was.
So it was them trying to be like nice and be like, no, we're not a gang. We're just a bunch of guys that like makeup.
And they had a lot of like people on stage saying, "I've lost my kids because because I like this band."
I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah,
but that's
like
insane.
Yeah, and they're on and some actual like tearful stories and things.
Wow. That's surreal though. Like a band that wears
yeah.
makeup, you've lost your job over supporting it.
And then so, like, there's two pictures from the day. There's one from the
you must have ones with makeup on, do
yeah.
you?
There's one from the Trump rally of like this ginger-haired guy with the "Make America Great" thing, and he's got like the spotty face. Like if you just imagined an incel in your mind, it looks like this guy, and he's giving an interview to camera. And then I have a picture from the Juggalo March, which is a guy in the clown makeup, but wearing like a suit and tie, giving an interview to camera. And I like to put those two images next to each other to just like explain the difference between these two rallies.
Yeah.
Like the Juggalo thing was ordinary people wanting something changed, which affects their lives, but also saying, listen, I'm a guy I work, this is what I wear to work, and this is what
I wear when I'm at home.
And then it's just, so these people gave these heartfelt speeches, and then everybody's just like, you get this whole crowd just screaming, fuck that shit, over and over again. Like,
have you seen Children's Hospital, the TV show?
No.
I think it's Children's Hospital. Supposedly it's super funny. I got introduced to it, but I've not watched it yet. I think one of the doctors wears like a like clown makeup.
All right.
Yeah. Let's see, and he just does it all the time, and no one like sort of questions it. TV show. Okay, yeah, it's the guy. You'll recognize the guy.
Oh yeah.
It's supposedly a really good TV show. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was a great day.
That is so surreal, though, to go from basically Antifa and Trump supporters rallying to then someone crying because they lost their kids to ICP.
Yeah. No, well, to clarify, they didn't lose their kids to ICP. The ICP didn't come in and take their kids. The FBI took their kids away because they were fans of ICP, or Child Services took their kids away.
And but that just shows you, like,
there's some crossover in the base, though.
Okay.
There's some, like...
You think there is people who are Trump supporters that are... I saw them. Okay.
Like, there was
they went from one to the other?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because, like...
So there was people at Trump's rally with the makeup on?
Yeah. Well, no, like, there was no, like, juggalos at the Trump rally, but there were Trump supporters going to the juggalo rally. Because, Trump base is, like, working class whites.
Yeah.
And the ICP is for anybody who's felt disillusioned.
Yeah.
They're far more inclusive, obviously. Yeah. But you feel like one is including you and the other is exploiting you.
Okay.
I suppose is the difference.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, fantastic day. I highly recommend going to DC.
Where did that come out of? Like, why did ICP become so popular? It doesn't even seem to be about the band anymore. Mm-hmm. It just seems to be about being a juggalo, wearing makeup, and I don't know. Do you think it's like a sort of a mainstream way of being a goth?
It's a goth thing, based around a single band rather than like
who are not goths,
who aren't goths.
Yeah. Because they're rap, are they? Like sort of new metal rap, I guess.
I've got pictures of both of them.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna have to Google ICP just to see what their ICP.
It's too dope. I'll see the other guy.
Let's see how their net worth. This will be a good indicator of if they're talking shit or not.
They probably give it away.
So, Insane Clown Posse, and this is through Forbes or whatever, Celebrity Net Worth, which is probably wrong. Insane Clown Posse is an American hip-hop duo. Oh, I thought it was like a group.
No, it's just the two.
They have a net worth of 30 million.
All right.
So it's Violent J.
Violent J and Too Dope.
His name's Joseph Bruce. And Shaggy Too Dope. Joseph Utsier? Is he Jewish?
I couldn't tell you.
Wait a minute. It's Utsier. We have to figure out if this guy's Jewish, because that'd be funny as hell. Not that Jewish people are funny, but to be in that kind of band. And
I can't believe I spent an afternoon at the Museum of Holocaust Memorial, and now I have to listen to this.
You've taken in all of world's culture by going to those three things in one day.
What a day.
Okay, Shaggy.
I went to the zoo the next day.
Shaggy.
It was kind of a letdown.
early career. What is he?
What is he?
Yeah. I'll see.
What are you? Is Insane Clown Posse Jewish? Just type it in.
That would be a Zionist, like conspiracy theory that the ICP are Jewish. Maybe that's why they probably wear all the makeup. Not that you can tell someone's
That'll
Jewish.
be why the FBI have like put them on the gang list.
I'll put Jewish. I'll put his name and
Question
Jewish
mark?
mark. Okay. Juggalo. Okay. No, I don't think he is Jewish. Unfortunately.
What a letdown.
I know. What's this? Where is he from? He is, he's from Michigan. He's 43.
Well, that's too dope.
Oh, he looks pretty dope, to be honest.
And that's Violent J.
Wow.
I couldn't get as close to him.
But what did they promote in their music that makes people be so like feel like they're associating with them? Like, what is it? Like,
it's like there was one about there's one of their famous songs is about Santa Claus and how Santa Claus didn't come to their house.
Oh,
like he went to other kids' houses.
Jewish. That's the whole Jewish thing again. Come on, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah. So it was like poor white kids
Yeah.
and songs that like they can or not just white kids, just poor kids generally. It's like in America, poor American kids and songs that they can like get into.
But where did the whole sort of get? I don't know.
Where did the clown stuff come from?
Yeah, I know.
They weren't answering my questions. I was like, "Where's it all coming from?" And they were like,
It's probably because you had a camera at the time.
Yeah,
so
they just
were
screamed "fuck that" shit at me over and over again, and whoop whoop.
like, let's see them without makeup. They're probably fine, upstanding gentlemen. No makeup, no gallbladder. That was one of the other questions. Oh my god.
They're just gonna look like two old guys. Yeah, like
one of them looks like a taller,
oh my god,
hip hop version of Frank from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. And the other guy is basically
he's too dope.
He's the guy that who's the guy in the background?
That's just the muscle.
He looks Russian.
We're
looking at a picture.
There was a thing lately where they said, you know, like Facebook's facial recognition thing, cloud makeup fucks it up.
Oh, I thought it was Chinese that fucked it up.
Because it removes like the edges of your your jawline and stuff. Looking at them without their makeup on, like they look completely different.
I know. Yeah, that's weird, huh?
And it's like really good makeup as well because they were sweating on that march through DC.
Wow, there's some, but I guess it's just like Slipknot. They wore masks, but they didn't have this fallen.
Well, didn't Limp Bizkit's guitarist have?
That is true. Wes Borland.
Yeah,
his makeup was amazing though.
I'm thinking of that because
for anyone that doesn't remember Limp Bizkit, they're a new metal group from early 2000s and had a few good albums.
Isn't Fred Durst directing a film now with like John Travolta in it?
I thought he did a porno or something where he claimed he banged Britney Spears. So the guitarist Wes Borland had some amazing makeup that he wore on stage. He looked like a sort of freak show.
Yeah, because I was watching the video for Mission Impossible 2.
And they did the song, yeah. Was it
Look Around You?
Yeah, take a look around.
Take a look around. Look Around You was that spoof Tomorrow's World show with Peter Serafinowicz, where it was like scientists believe this is the largest number in the world, and it said like 40 million,
right?
Like just 40 with like all the zeros, and then they added, but they think there could be even larger ones, and they like the last zero turns into a 1 with a question mark next to it.
That's so funny. Yeah, because it's like when scientists figured out, we figured out the biggest number, and it's like that is totally a thing. Like, why don't you just add another zero onto the last one that you figured out? Like, how does that work?
It's like there's like levels of infinity.
Oh yeah, that is a thing that people sometimes don't grab the concept of. Like there's different forms of infinity.
Yeah, you've got like infinity, but then if you have like infinity numbers, what about all the numbers in between those numbers? So then you get like, so is that infinity squared?
Yeah, there's like different grades of infinity. It's so hard to keep up with.
Damn scientists coming up with new stuff.
So we're pretty much like at
I could keep going.
I know, man. Well, if you feel like you want to just if you don't have to leave, we can go for a while.
I'm in no rush.
Cool, man. ICP. I just don't know where it feels like there are sort of a lot of disenfranchised kids in America. You know, it's such a large country that you're going to feel like you don't feel represented at any one point. And I think that's why it's maybe not a good thing for it to... I mean, I'm all for globalism. That's the way the world needs to go to be connected.
Yeah,
but
it's
at
the
the
only way
same
we'll get
time,
into space.
You have to localize things as well to make you feel like you're not just being like looked over. And I think coming from a small town and then going to like a massive city and traveling, I did a lot of traveling as well. That makes you have a good perspective on the world.
I remember when I thought Inverness was the biggest place in the world.
Is it not?
No, it's tiny.
Yeah.
Like I went back and I'm like, Inverness is really small.
The bridge is smaller than you think as well. You know, the one that goes over, what's the name of the river? Spey?
Yeah, that's it's the
Inverness.
It's
Invernadian?
Is it the Colway Firth or something?
Okay. Makes sense.
I should know. I used to live in Birkhead.
You're terrible Invernadian.
I only care about the Firth of Forth these days. I'm doing a book for my dad. My dad works on the tugs.
Oh, right, okay.
You know,
for like taking the cruise liners or whatever.
And the oil tankers.
Oh, wow.
So he retires next year.
Okay.
And I'm putting together a book for his retirement of just pictures of tugboats and oil tankers. And so what usually happens...
Sorry, but have you done it like a photo series on him doing his job?
Yeah, that's my plan.
That's what this is, yeah.
Well, I can't get onto the tugs as much as I'd like because you need to be a visitor and he needs to be working. So I've been on once, but that's the plan, is to get on again when they're actually moving an oil tanker and just sit in the wheel room and just take pictures of that. What
is the life of an oil tugboatman like? Like, what are the hours? Like, is it just
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off? Okay. So they're on the boat pretty much constantly.
I guess it sort of coincides with the oil industry, maybe.
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah.
So they do the oil tankers. They usually get like 3 boats a week, like 3 ships a week, I should say. They're massive, absolutely huge.
Right.
And then they do cruise liners, and they recently took out the aircraft carriers from Rosyth as well.
Okay.
And so he's been there for 20 years in that same company.
Wow, that's a long time, huh?
You don't get that anymore.
No.
So it means I go down and I usually get like there's the tour boat that takes you out and looks at the 3 bridges.
Yeah.
So all the tourists are taking pictures of the bridges, and I'm like, nah, look at this, look at this tugboat and this oil terminal, isn't Hound Point beautiful? Yeah,
I was wondering why you had a lot of pictures on the river, and I was like, what is Neil doing?
So I'm getting lots, and I just need to keep going back to different, because the pictures don't change.
Yeah.
The boats don't move. Mm-hmm. So I just need to go back for different conditions, different times of day, and constantly.
The people as well. There'll be different expressions.
Oh, God.
Or whatever.
You have to get like a little boat out to the boats. And I had to take all my batteries out of the cameras because it's an oil terminal. And they were like,
oh, okay.
So you can't have any chance of a spark. But the roughnecks, like the oil guys, I don't know if they were doing it for my benefit, but they were having some disgusting conversations.
Really?
You know, because people jump off the bridges.
Oh, right, okay.
And they were talking about pulling up the bodies and stuff, like just as though as though it didn't matter.
Did they have to take?
Yeah, they have to like.
They have to pull up the
if
bodies.
They're the nearest boat.
Wow! Oh my God!
And they were making fun of some guy for like quitting after his first one and stuff, and saying, "Oh man, I've had like 10." just as though like it was nothing. So just part of the job.
But that's like pockets of masculinity that everyone seems to like be supremely against. But what they don't realize is this is how these people cope.
That's how they deal with it. Yeah,
like so they have to make humor and they have to make light of it.
And that would have been like the most like esoteric photograph take of those like guys talking shit about pulling like, jumpers up out of the Forth. But didn't have my batteries in my cameras.
Yeah. Oh shit! That would have been a great photo as well.
And they would probably have loved for me to do it.
Yeah, probably actually, because I mean it's something that's different, and when they get to change up the routine, then I think they welcome those sort of things. It's always been the same with have you watched the people that is it the Lobster, the Deadliest Catch?
Yeah, Deadliest Catch guys, things like that.
That was one of my favorite TV shows growing up because it was just these guys out on these boats trying to catch crab in the shittiest of weathers, but they were always joking and laughing.
Oh, you had to.
Yeah.
It's either that or you just cried.
Supposedly they're all just on heroin. And they don't care. It's the only way
to stay awake for like 72 hours at a time.
I thought that was how you go to sleep.
Well,
I don't know how heroin works.
I'm not heroin user myself.
But supposedly you can function on it if you take it right. I guess if it's you, if you take the shit stuff, it makes you like sleepy.
I wonder who like we went to school with who's become a heroin addict.
This is something
Adam.
This is yeah, he's probably died. This is something I've thought about. Where people are now in their life, because 30 is like the number.
Yeah.
I mean, are you 30 now? 31. Yeah. Okay. I'm 30.
You're either 31 or 32. Yeah.
Kev's the one who's like the oldest of our year.
Okay.
And I'm 31, and I'm 32 in November. He shakes his head. Yeah, this is something I think about quite regularly.
He didn't actually shake his head.
I said shakes head, like, you know, the sort of incel guys. Yeah, I wonder where some people are just now, because obviously I don't have everyone that I went to school with.
We don't need to do a school reunion. We just need everybody to come on the podcast, and we can find out what they've been doing.
I'd rather do a reunion. I don't want everyone.
Kerry and I joked about this when we were talking about you last time I saw her talking about your podcast.
Okay.
It's like, we don't actually need to find out to get them to go on and talk to Dan.
It's strange because I think the people that I've spoken to since then, everyone was like vastly different in high school. You know, I didn't enjoy high school, not because, you know, I was having trouble with the people or whatever, but it was mostly to do with I was so bored in class. You know, I couldn't focus.
Well, I sailed through on natural talent.
Yeah, you did.
I was one of the smart kids,
Yes.
and then I hit the brick wall at uni. And oh my god!
What did you study?
Civil engineering.
Oh, okay.
And I came out with like a base degree.
Okay.
Didn't become a civil engineer because I sailed through high school.
So you were sort of relying on your natural ability
and
to do.
then that doesn't hack it in uni.
That's so crazy, because I thought like you would have, not that you've not done great things, but I thought that whatever you went to go do in uni would have been just a breeze as well for you.
Nope.
Because it was a core group, wasn't it? There was you, Adam, were like
Ian Colley, Ian Cowan.
Where are those guys now? Do you know?
Colley's got like 2 kids.
Wow.
His legs are the same length. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, like he went through so much shit with that thing. But I'm sure
just
like
explain to people like what was wrong.
One of his legs was shorter than the other, so he had like that metal cage where they lengthen your bones and they stick the pins in it. Yeah, like, and then one day he fell over and you just went, oh my god! But he was obviously like on so many painkillers every day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was like for a good reason. You don't go through that unless it's like going to be necessary for your future.
But that's the thing.
It was like fifth, maybe it must have been 4th year if you saw it then.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing about sort of doing those things. You don't know what pain you're going to cause later on in your life, because your legs are supposed to be a certain way that's tailored to your body. That's why they can't just like print off legs for amputees without them having pain down the road, because their hips could be out just by a millimeter, and that pain of walking on that all the time can just sort of cause you to get sore hips or sore knees. But the body's so in tune to itself, it's crazy. Like you have to, it's hard to take that into account when you're printing off willy-nilly fucking arms, and I think the leg's the worst one.
You can't mass produce them.
No.
I passed Cowan once on the street in Glasgow.
Right.
He did a double take, but I'm not sure he recognized me. He was with a group of friends, so I didn't want to be like...
Yeah.
I was going to say something horrible.
Okay, you can.
No, it's fine.
You probably won't be listening
Probably
to
never
this.
listen. We used to always make that joke that his mum looked like the guy on the £10 note. Although, when I say we, I mean Sean Connery used to make the joke all the time.
Do you speak
No.
There's can't say much about
No.
If there's anyone that I thought would have...
I tried to be friends with him afterwards,
Okay.
and then I just realised that we were no longer compatible as friends.
He was one of these kids that when he got a bit older, if you heard that he shot up a high school, then you wouldn't be surprised, you know.
Like, he's got issues. I just couldn't keep trying.
Okay.
Just gave up.
I thought they sort of just got exacerbated when, like, he left high school.
Yeah.
I felt like that's when they start to come ahead.
And he's definitely, like, gone down the drugs route, I think, as well.
Oh, right.
But I don't want to, like, talk too much about that.
But I thought I didn't know him in high school that well, so was he quite similar to what he is now?
Yeah, he's a bit manic.
Was he not? He was quite smart though, was he not?
He was when he bothered.
Okay.
Wow. I saw Neil Scott last year. just before he got married to Anna Rathband.
Oh yeah, they were together since like high school, were they not? No. They just did afterwards.
Who was Anna with in high? Ryan Gibson.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And they split up like after they went to uni or something.
Wait a minute. Did his dad not go off?
I was wanting to generally avoid this.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're still together.
No way. So just to sort of nicely put this, a teacher from Blairgowrie High School ran off with a pupil, and which happened to be his, his dad. And they're still together, are they?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
From what I understand, they're still together.
Wow, that has to be like.
And so there was me, Neil Stuchbury, and Neil Scott, and neither of us got called Neil.
It was Stuch
and Sco.
Sco, that was it. Yeah, he was a weirdly good football player as well, wasn't he?
Yep.
But he was a keeper, was he? I think
he liked playing in goals. It was like him and John were the only two people who were winning goals.
Do you know what was frustrating though? Like, because I didn't like school that much. So if I don't have any interest in it, I wasn't going to try and succeed. And I didn't like football either, so I was athletic, but I didn't like football, so I was screwed. And then obviously to be someone who's a geek and be good at football as well, it was just like a sting in the, the
Neil Scott was like, he had everything.
Well, he was ginger, so
I guess he didn't have that. But yeah, he was.
And what's he doing now? Like, I kind of thought he would be like quite sort of successful.
I think he's. What is he? I saw him last year.
Okay.
Me and Kerry, we went to this urban axe throwing competition.
Wow.
In Edinburgh.
Okay.
Where we are.
There's a permanent place as well that does that now. It's called Fireside. I don't know
if it's the same guys or if they've heard
There's
about
an
the other
indoor one.
All
yeah,
right.
it's like a bar that you can do it at, so you can pay to just go.
I was terrible at it, so I just took pictures.
Didn't do it double-hander.
No, I just took pictures of it instead.
It's funny when you're watching like zombie, when you're playing zombie games and you're just like, well, I know what I would do and all this thing, and then you're faced with reality and you're just like,
and it just keeps hitting hand first. But Neil won it that day.
Wow.
No, he came second, but he won it overall, I think. Anyway, I saw Neil last year, and I couldn't tell you what he does.
Yeah, it's funny how we just sort of, you think that you would always just know what everyone's doing from growing up with them, but everyone loses track of everyone, I guess. There's people that crop up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that person was at my high school as well.
I saw a picture of Nick Brown with Kerry Ramsey a couple of weeks ago.
What?
Yeah, like they just bumped into each other somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the two of them.
Okay. Is she still in Blair, I guess? I
think so.
Okay. Strange one, because it's such a large high school. There is the fear of the people that are going to end up just living there their whole life, and there's been a few of them that we've seen that are still there, and it's kind of like a bit sad. But some of them choose to do it because they're happy.
Some of them are still there, and like they've married somebody from the year below usually.
Yeah, and it's this weird place as well. It's not a place you'd stay in and grow up to. No. It's a place you come to retire, I guess, Blair.
Well, I went back to see a friend because she'd had a daughter, and I went back to say hi.
Right.
And there's 3 new retirement homes. There's know where the tennis courts were. Yeah. There's a retirement home there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because my dad still lives in Blair, so I just go up there some. But yeah, they just totally took away the tennis courts.
Now there's more coffee shops to keep up with the amount of retirement homes.
There's a Subway as well.
Yep.
Do you know that? That's crazy. When there's a McDonald's, that's when shit's going.
Wasn't there rumors of there being a McDonald's?
There was always rumors. Someone started that in high school,
across the river at the old petrol station, the battery one, yeah.
And that's a bunch of flats as well.
Yep.
Wow, things change.
Not retirement home
though. We should probably end on that note, man. Sometimes I ask this, you probably heard it yourself, but I ask a few questions. Favorite movie that you've seen?
The Master.
Okay, The Master. Do you want to care to elaborate?
It's Paul Thomas Anderson who directed There Will Be Blood.
Okay.
Joaquin Phoenix is a Navy...
Joaquin?
Joaquin.
I thought it was Hakeem.
Hakeem?
Joaquin.
J. Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, The Master. Oh, is that the one that was sort of...
And Philip Seymour Hoffman plays the Master.
Okay, right, okay. Is it good?
Yes.
And it's your all-time favorite?
Yes.
Wow.
Often for the sake of conversation, because people do that thing where they're like, It changes all the time. I decided just to pick one.
Yeah, because people are always like, but I like your certainty. I had an idea about a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's basically Face Off, but it's with Hoffs, so it's Face Hoff.
Right. And
Dustin Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and who's the guy that played in Baywatch? Hasselhoff.
The Hasselhoff.
Yeah, so same sort of theme.
Yeah.
As Face Off the movie, but with Hoffs, and Philip Seymour Hoffman
died before you could see your vision through.
Before I can like lock him into the contract, he was a bit, I'm an artist, whatever. But he would have done it.
Yeah,
anyway.
He would have. He was in Mission Impossible 3, where he actually did like take faces off.
Yeah, so that I think they probably took my idea.
Yeah.
Through time travel.
I bet they made a pun about it.
Like of course. Face Off.
What are your other questions?
How do you know? Favorite book?
Dispatches by Michael Hare.
Okay.
It's the Vietnam book. A lot of the scenes in Dispatches aren't necessarily true, or they aren't fact. Okay. Usually they're like a number of Marines that he met, like amalgamated into one person.
Right, okay.
But do you remember Full Metal Jacket, when the guy's like shooting out the helicopter, saying, easy, you just don't lead them so much? Right. It's lifted directly from Dispatches.
Wow, no way.
You know the scene in Apocalypse Now? Yeah. Where the guy comes along and fires that like grenade launcher at the Viet Cong that's shouting abuse at him? Yeah. That's lifted straight from Dispatches.
So it's a real thing.
And he also wrote most of the narration in Apocalypse Now. Wow. But he was like a journalist who went and embedded himself. If I could do one thing, if I had like the balls and the money, and like I would, war photography is like the absolute like distillation of what I want to do. But I never would.
Yeah, you have to see dead bodies and stuff. What was my other question? I forgot my own questions now because I'm thinking about dead bodies.
You're welcome.
This is when Dead Drowning Pool starts kicking in with the music. Favorite book? No, I've done that. Yeah. Favorite. Favorite quote that you've heard that or you like, or you've just sort of remember from anything.
Just nudging me there. You should have given me this one in advance.
Okay. Well, go the favorite piece of music band you've listened to recently, or you're of all time.
I love the Black Keys.
Really, big fan of them.
Stack Shop Billy from Rubber Factory before they sold out with El Camino.
Black Keys not splitting up as well.
I think their bassist died.
That's not splitting.
That's not splitting up. But
could
like
be.
Last week, that's what they've been on the news lately for.
I thought this was something that happened a while ago, but yeah, that's shit.
But when I liked them, they didn't have a bassist.
Okay, yeah, so he was expendable.
We're back to good now. No. They were heavy blues, like heavy, like White Stripes, just a guitar and a drum kit. Yeah, and then they obviously went a different direction. Yeah,
they're good. Some of their earlier stuff's legit though. It's like I like a lot of the earlier Idlewild stuff. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember like before they moved. What's the other? The Vines were really good as well. The early Vine stuff.
Yeah, they were really good. There's a lot of those bands that came through in their first albums.
Trying to think of quotes.
So yes, your favorite quote.
What's that one from? It's supposedly.
Don't ask me. It's your quote.
It's supposedly Einstein, and it's in Far Cry 3. Okay. Insanity is.
Oh yeah, like repeating.
Doing the same thing over and over again with it and expecting a different result.
I'll just so you get it right. Insanity. So this is your quote that you like, and it's by Albert Einstein. It's insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah.
It's a good one,
because
man.
I do that, like a lot.
Yeah, I know. I think everyone does.
Watching Kirsten Dunst films over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's exactly. You should have this on your screen while you're watching Kirsten Dunst and her weird chipmunk teeth.
I got.
Is that something that you want to talk about? Her teeth?
Snaggletooth. That's what my friend calls her. She's discussed it.
With what?
Like magazines and stuff. And she said she never wanted to change it because it's part of her. And she has she only has one dimple when she smiles. Okay. She's got like the perfect dimple, but only on one side.
The perfect dimple?
Perfect all-American. Perfect all-American dimple.
Seems like you're getting swallowed in by her aura. And you're starting to fancy her. It's not scientific research.
I'm not starting.
Okay, so yeah, that's been great, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I have a T-shirt for you as well. That
Yeah,
you want,
I've been waiting for this.
Okay.
I didn't want to make a big deal.
Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh.
Have it. I'll send you it because
I heard this last week as well.
I'm having problems with the T-shirt
Yeah.
place. But yeah, I'll get it to you anyway. But
Cool.
thanks for coming on, man.
No
Oh,
problem.
is there anything you want to plug as well?
Look at my photographs on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I need followers to feel like good about myself.
Which
It's what_stuch_saw.
okay.
And then go to the website I never update, which
Okay.
is stuch-photo.com.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks.
And go do it because his photos are awesome. And
We should link. I'll give you the link for the
Yeah.
Trump rally photographs with all the fucking mustaches.
and the weird T-shirts as well. Anyway, on that note, peace.